David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
And a great Tuesday afternoon to you. Hope you are doing well here in the old Pueblo. Game week. We're getting closer and closer to Arizona football here. The New Mexico Lobos are going to be coming into town. We actually have a Southern Arizonan on the roster. He's a freshman. You might remember his name. Sakili Woodard out of Canyon del Oro, the state champion. Or I'm sorry, they won the state champion. I always forget who won the state championship. The state champion Canyon del Oro Dorados. They are the reigning 4A champs. Friday night we were up at Sabino with the reigning 3A champions from Sabino, but we had two sets of titleists last year. Sakili, of course, is now at New Mexico. Caden Luke, also a star from that team. We have talked a bunch about him being over at the University of Arizona. And potentially, although he wasn't, we went over the depth chart yesterday. Caden Luke was not on the depth chart, but that does not mean that he's not going to play. It'll be interesting, though. You know, you see a lot of things in fall camp, and then you wonder, okay, are we going to see any of that stuff come the regular season? We saw a lot of guys play, obviously, in fall camp. Are we going to see a lot of guys play during the regular season? We heard from the offense today. Offensive coordinator Dino Babers spoke. A couple of the offensive linemen, Josh Baker, who he missed some time during camp, but looks like he is game ready to go, along with Jonah Savianaya and the quarterback Noah Fafita. So we'll hear from Noah coming up a little bit later. Get his thoughts on game one. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt did not talk this week, did not talk today anyway. With the offense, we thought that he might, considering he is playing his old team, but I kind of figured they wouldn't throw him out there for that. So we did not get a chance to hear from Ja'Cory, but Ja'Cory will be playing against his former teammates, the New Mexico Lobos, again, under a different coach in Bronco Mendenhall. His coach, obviously, over here with us now, Danny Gonzalez, handling the linebackers, but still, you got to believe that Ja'Cory is going to be hyped for this game coming up this weekend. Reminders, we will be on the air with you at 3 o'clock on Saturday for the Meridian Wealth Management Arizona Game Day pregame show. 3 to 6, we'll take you up. 6 o'clock network pregame, Brody Dryden, Kyle Quinn, and then 7:30 kickoff, Brian Jeffries, Lamont Lovett, and Steve Quiz, we found out yesterday, is going to be the new sideline reporter for the Arizona Wildcats football broadcast. Steve Quiz, no stranger to Southern Arizona, no stranger to Tucson. He was I understand he was a sports anchor at Channel 13, KOLD, way before I got there. Back in the late 90s, I believe Steve went on and did some broadcast work with the Padres in San Diego, and I know I've seen him on some Pac-12 broadcasts. He was doing some Pac-12 baseball, did some of the West Coast games during the Pac-12 network years. I don't know. We'll get a chance to talk to him probably next week. We'll have him on and find out. I guess he may be living back here in Southern Arizona now, and he's going to be a part of the broadcast. So a very quality broadcaster from everything I've heard. Steve Quiz, looking forward to having him on the sidelines now. But, of course, we're going to miss Dana Cooper. Dana Cooper was in that role for, he started in that role when I was still with Learfield way back in the day. I think Dana came on my second year there. So my first year was 8. I think he came on maybe 10. It might have been my third year there that Dana came on. And so he had been there pretty much 15 years on the sidelines, telling the stories of what was happening on game day. So we're definitely going to miss Dana Cooper, but I'm sure he'll be around. And Dana is obviously always welcome on this program if he wants to talk Arizona football.
I remember Dana from the Memories of 88 video, who's produced that as well. That was way back when Steve Kerr was still on campus. So, yeah, Dana Cooper has had his hands all over the U of A athletic department for quite a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
And I love it when he randomly calls in. DK, we have a couple of U of A people who randomly calls in and give us their thoughts, and it's always the best to hear from Dana.
Dana Cooper, Coach Harvey, among those that will randomly call in and are always excited to talk Arizona Wildcats football. We can't wait for game day again coming up this Saturday. We'll have coverage for you starting at 3 o'clock. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. If you follow us on one of our many platforms, we are no longer, of course, streaming on Twitter because they make you pay for that now. But we are still streaming this show on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitch, so you can watch it on any of those platforms. But if you still follow us on Twitter, you might have seen that we sent out a little tweet a little while ago that we are growing the team today. Growing the team. Now, you know, when we started this show, there were 4 of us. Me, J-Dub, Cricket, and a gentleman by the name of David Amata, who we call Dragon Ball, was with the program. Dragon Ball then left us last October.
Bigger, better things to do.
Bigger, better things, yeah. Didn't want to play with us anymore, so he decided to take his ball and go play on another court, which happens in this business. You like to have people go on, move onward and upward, and whatnot. And so we were a 3-man show, three-person show, 3-person, 2 men, 1 woman, with J-Dub, myself, and Cricket. And now we are growing the show, and we're actually going to be growing it a lot. But not every voice will be heard every day. But we've got some new folks that are going to be coming on board, and you'll be hearing them on various aspects of our coverage as we move forward into this new school year, 24-25. But we will be having some of those voices will be regular editions of the show, and one of those voices starts today. So we would like to welcome to the program, or should we say welcome back to the program, Dragon Ball. Welcome back, Dragon Ball.
Moving onwards and upwards, exactly. And I'm right back here.
See, what did I say? What's it say at the top of the show? I thought I was out, but they drug me back in.
I feel pretty good about being drugged in. I'll tell you what, I feel pretty good about being back in here.
So what you been doing, Dragon Ball, since you left us last fall?
I've been doing a lot of writing, doing a lot of voice work, actually, as a matter of fact. Doing a lot of voice work, working at the in-home studio kind of deal, but saw that there was a chance to potentially go ahead and try to work my way back in for a couple places, and thought I'd go and throw my hat into this one, and I guess there was a lot of people that were missing me around the office, so I guess I am back.
So we won't have you singularly here with us. You're going to be doing some work on the FM side as well, and
Yes.
what are you going to be doing over there?
Oh, that I'm going to be doing the Sunday afternoon shows. Be on Kim 99.5 Kim FM. Doing Sunday afternoons there, helping you folks that really want to go ahead and know what Max Shannon and Pork Chop are going to be giving you throughout the week, and finishing up the winning weekends whenever those happen to be. So, hey, I'm the guy for giveaways on Kim FM now.
Wow. What do you know about country music, Dragon Ball?
I know enough about Luke Combs, and that might be about it. And that might be just from the Grammys this last year.
Outstanding.
You're a quick learner.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be listening to that music a lot, I think, the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to be learning that very quickly.
See, you come back here, and I don't even know what the shots are anymore. It's like I gotta use so many shots now. I'm like trying to figure out what the shots are. There we go. It's like I forget because I haven't had to use the 3-person shot. I use it every day because Cricket's on that camera. I don't know why all of a sudden I forgot how to do this.
It's also been summer up until this week, and so the number of guests we'll get in the fall, you'll be using a lot of those cameras a lot more regularly here in the fall.
I got to practice my camera work here.
3, 4, 5 shots.
Sure.
I mean, there's gonna be a whole lot of it.
We are limited, I think. This camera still doesn't work over here, so we'll maybe get Jose working on that.
You can turn
to
that
see
one
if
on,
we
but
can
then
get-
this one stops working.
Exactly,
so,
something like that. So, Dragon Ball, it is great to have you back. We're going to be looking forward to to your opinions as always, especially we get into basketball season. You know a ton about that. The NFL as well. We may have you rebirth your NFL, your weekly NFL reports, and tell us about what's going on.
We had to do an entire hockey playoff without you.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
And it was a good one too.
It was a really
very good one.
Well,
and I thought we talked about it a lot. And like I know hockey and Pittsburgh sports are your favorite go-tos. And so I thought about you quite a bit during the hockey playoffs. I was like, I bet you Dragon Ball has some thoughts on this.
I kept sweating and thinking, oh, man, don't tell me Florida's going to blow this. Please tell me the Panthers aren't going to blow this.
So what do you think about the Steelers quarterback situation?
I think there's going to be a lot of question marks, not just at that position, but at a number of positions. Offensive line is the big one there, but definitely the position battle for the U of A I'm looking at is the running back. I mean, did you see that they opened it up as a four-headed starter at running back?
Exactly.
Yeah, it was or.
Yeah. Maybe that's the nickname, the four oars. The four oars that's what we're going to call this running back tandem of Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Quali Connolly, Speedy Luke, Rayshawn Luke, and Kedrick Riscano, the four oars. I like that because, again, how many of those coaches say we're rowing a boat? That's kind of a popular football vernacular for teamwork. We're rowing a boat. So the four oars.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's make sure we get that, Jada, make sure we get that trademark before anybody else tries to
I'll,
go and,
write
and
up that
sell,
letter
and
and
sell
send it
our
off to Washington
T-shirts.
ASAP.
Yeah, we don't want anybody else selling our T-shirts right there. So, okay. And while we're at it right now, we're going to be joined by the fourth man. Let me see if I can get this camera shot right here because I got now 4 people to put on camera, and there is Cricket.
Hello,
she hasn't put on her
welcome.
headset yet. Cricket, guess who's back?
Oh, guess who's back again?
Guess
I am
who's
back.
the back? Bum, ba-dum, bum. Yeah, we got to get the Jay-Z going there.
I was also thinking Eminem, too.
Did you miss Dragon Ball?
I did. It's
Yes.
nice to see you back.
I am very happy to be back. And I know that my grandmother's also very happy for me to be
Oh,
back. Eventually, she
yes.
will be getting some treats or desserts thrown around the office, I'm sure.
Tell Grandma I left my off that she bought me in the rental car when I went to Philadelphia a month ago, and I had it. I took it to one of the games with me, and then I just left it in the car. I was like, we were kind of scrambling to get out of the rental car, and I totally forgot it. I was like, oh man, I left my off there. So then I went out and bought another one, but it's not quite the same as the one that she bought me. So I might have to have her get me some more of that fabulous off that she
It
had.
works. She's fine.
It does work. It does work. I'll tell you that. I ever since I started wearing that stuff, I never got bit, and I don't smell like repellent, which is nice.
That's helpful. Yeah.
I don't have to go home and, like my wife says, jump right in the shower.
Get in the
something
shower.
Like that. So, J-Dub, Dragon Ball is back. So let's reboot this show.
Live from the CNWT.
Wait, what's the CNWT?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden,
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
David Amata,
Hey, that's Dragon Ball to you.
and Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Yeah, the band is back together. It's like a reunion tour.
Dig.
Yeah.
We got the yacht rock back on.
Yes,
back on.
we do. Yes, we do. They're coming to town in January. Yachtly Crew will be back. They're going to be in, I think it's Friday night, January the 10th. They'll be here. So hopefully there's no Big 12 basketball that night because we don't know what's going on with the scheduling there just yet.
Just yet.
Any day now.
Any day now. Any day, any week. All right, so much more coming up from Dragon Ball throughout the show. We're going to talk some football with Kirby Bowl now is going to be joining us today. He's a official here, high school football official, and we got a chance to see him Friday night. He was out at the Sabino Coolidge game. We'll get Kirby's thoughts on the new season, some of the rule changes that we're going to see, and the shortage of officials that we are having right now throughout southern Arizona. So a lot of games are going to be played on Thursdays and Saturdays to kind of allow guys to work multiple games throughout the weekend. So we'll talk to Kirby about that. And, of course, Tuesdays is Wildcat Breakdown Day. Glenn Howe will join us, and we will break down Arizona football. We're going to do position groups again today. We'll do the wide receivers and the defensive backs. But right now, Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Wilmot north of 29th Street reports of wires down. Wilmot north of 29th. Vehicle fire at Hardy and Thornydale. Thornydale and Hardy vehicle fire, and a lot of backups in that area. So there is a 15% chance of rain today and 100 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Every business faces challenges, but shipping shouldn't be one of them. Turn shipping to your advantage with USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Good news, everybody. We stay on the air with you for an extra 2 hours after every Arizona football and men's basketball game all season long. That's why we are the home of the Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
What's with the earmuffs, Gary?
Holy cannoli. I just got back from a house with the loudest AC I've ever heard.
In other words, it wasn't installed right.
It must have been installed upside down for all that noise.
If you want the air conditioner built for Arizona heat, get the super quiet Grizzly from Alaskan AC.
If your air conditioner sounds like...
It could sound like...
We stop vibrations so your AC runs smooth and cool.
People all over Arizona are singing about the Grizzly.
If you want the air conditioner built for Arizona heat, get the super quiet Grizzly from Alaskan AC.
Shh! Hear that?
I don't hear anything.
That means...
The Grizzly's doing its job, keeping you cool
with barely a purr.
We believe ACs should sound like this.
Because we do things the Alaskan way, not the cheap way.
If you want the air conditioner built for Arizona heat, get the super quiet Grizzly from Alaskan AC.com.
There are many reasons you might need Dorado Rockin' Materials. A few bare spots in the yard, the driveway needs filling in, or it could be that the yard needs a whole makeover. Whatever the reason, if your yard has the summertime blues, Dorado Rockin' Materials has everything from sand to boulders and every rock and pebble in between. If you need help spreading it, we have options for that too. Call 400-4233. Dorado Rockin' Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom.
Your air conditioner ready for the hot Arizona summer? Great news at Super Tune-Up Time at Rightway. We'll come out and perform our 42-point Energy Saver tune-up on your air conditioning system for only $59. We'll remove years of dirt, grime, and leaves from your air conditioning system. It's like taking your air conditioner to a car wash, all for only $59. If you have an air conditioner that leaks Freon every year, we'll include a leak check at no charge. Call Rightway at 520-640-COOL for the $59 Super Tune-Up Special.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
If you're using Viagra or Cialis or have thought about using them, listen up. Zeldy is introducing Zeldy Hardies, new 2-in-1 dissolving tablets that get you ready for action in 15 minutes and keep you ready for up to 48 hours. They contain sildenafil and tadalafil, the active ingredients in Viagra and Cialis, but cost 90% less than those brand names. You heard me right. Using both active ingredients and this quick dissolving mechanism allows sildenafil to work in around 15 minutes, and the tadalafil keeps you ready for up to 48 hours. It's powerful results that cost around 90% less. Text REACT to 200-300 to get started. With Zelty, enjoy fast, free, discreet shipping without the hassle of any awkward, time-wasting visits to the doctor's office. We make access as seamless as possible so you can focus on your life and your love life. Get your free medical review and Zelty Hardies, a new way to treat ED, today. Text REACT to 200-300 now. Don't wait. Text REACT to 200-300 200-300 right away. Text REACT to 200-300.
Stay informed on all the latest news from McHale Center and Arizona men's basketball by following us on Twitter at Wildcats1290. When news breaks from Tommy Lloyd's team, we will bring it to you on Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. I've got to give the old man credit, Jerry Jones. Credit for this much. At least he finally did something, which was a major departure from a giant mountain of nothing, which he did all offseason. Nothing except say that he's all in, over and over and over again. Apparently, all in means waiting until the very last minute to pay your best offensive player. And it's not like he had all that much of a choice, right? Exactly what is the point of the Cowboys going into this season without their best offensive player, CeeDee Lamb? How are they supposed to evaluate Dak's contract year or Big Mike's big fat lame duck year if CeeDee wasn't there? How are they supposed to actually win any playoff game without CeeDee when they couldn't win one with him? You see what I'm getting at here? Jared did nothing special yesterday. He actually did the bare minimum and barely in time. Get in on the summer's biggest moments with PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Download the PrizePicks app today and use the code ROME and get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. That's code ROME on PrizePicks to get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive that $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. You do have to be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
O'Reilly. Need a little help? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Need advice? We've got advice. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Exceptional customer service. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Arizona Wildcats game week. It'll be the Wildcats and the New Mexico Lobos coming up Saturday at the stadium. So, again, David Amata, Dragon Ball, is back with us on the program as he returns here to Cumulus Media in Tucson. And Dragon Ball, when did you leave exactly? You left in you met kind of in the middle of the football season last year, was it? Or
I want to say that it was somewhere around maybe a week or two into the football season.
Okay.
About October was when I left.
Yeah, it was right before basketball started.
So you weren't here. You weren't here for the large part of the Noah Fifita run. So just first of all, your thoughts on what you saw and what you're looking forward to most about him this season.
I saw a kid that didn't really look like he was afraid of the lights. That was the big thing, is that, look, the big thing about it that everyone was constantly talking about with Noah Fifita was that, well, we're worried about how his size is going to affect him being a pocket passer, if he's going to have to do a lot of rolling out, a lot of scrambling. Kid looks comfortable in the pocket. He looks like he has been in there his whole life, and he is ready to live in that pocket so long as his offensive line gives him the time that he needs. And even though him and T-Mac have such a connection, he was willing to go to other guys that he wasn't as familiar with in comparison. I mean, he was willing to spread the ball around a lot. There's a reason why Tanner McLaughlin got drafted in April, is because he got involved in the offense a lot thanks to Noah Fifita looking to his tight end. Same thing with Jacob Cowing. I'm very interested to see what he does here in his first season as the guy coming into the offense. I'm very, very intrigued to see what the new season is going to do for him, especially in Big 12 play versus in Pac-12, because that's going to be a very different style of football than what we're accustomed to seeing the U of A Wildcats play against year in and year out. So I'm very, very tentatively optimistic that he's going to have one of those top 5 seasons in the Big 12. I think he could be a top 5 quarterback in the conference.
And we'll get into this later with Glenn Howe when we break down the wide receivers. Obviously, there are some new faces there. I think, obviously, Montana Lamonius Craig is going to have a much larger role in this offense than he did last year. But Jeremiah Patterson has really stood out in practice. He's wearing the number 2 that Jacob Cowing wore last year, a transfer from College of San Mateo, a veteran kid who's probably, I mean, if you look out there, and fans are going to look out there, and if they really haven't been paying real close attention, I think they're going to believe they're still seeing Jacob Cowing out there because the kid looks just like him, same frame, same kind of height, a shorter receiver, but with the same type of ability to get open. Folks are going to show up Saturday night and are going to say, wait a minute, we thought Jacob Cowing went to the 49ers. What's he doing back here? Because Jeremiah Patterson has that same look about him. I'm really, really excited to see this new young receiver in this offense with the likes of Noah Fafita and Tetsuo McMillan. Because like you said, we know the connection he has with T-Mac, but can he build that same rapport and be comfortable with the other guys? Because it was clear early in camp that without T-Mac being out there were some struggles to the offense. And a lot of that also might have been the fact that, even though they kept a lot of the verbiage the same from last year, that you've got a new offensive coordinator, you've got a new guy in your ear, and you were working with a lot of different receivers. We talked about Rex Haynes being out there a lot. We talked about Devin Hyatt being out there a lot when T-Mac wasn't out there. Malachi Riley's been a little bit down. So you've got some unfamiliarity, and that could have also led to the struggles out there. But the thing I thought was interesting was as soon as T-Mac came back, that was when Noah just seemed to get comfortable with the whole thing. So it's almost like just having T-Mac out there, even if he's not throwing it to T-Mac, it makes him more comfortable in this offense.
Well, here's the thing. If I'm a quarterback, I'm going to be a lot more comfortable when I've got a big target like Tetsuo McMillan back on the field because I know that that's my security blanket. I can get that ball to him in any part of his catch radius, and I'm going to have a chance of him making a big play. With a lot of other guys, and you even mentioned, they kept the verbiage the same, but what happens when you change offensive coordinators?
Yeah.
You change philosophies.
Right.
You do have a little bit of difference on what the offense is looking to set up. Do you use the run to set up the pass, or do you use the pass to set up the run? These things change, and the verbiage can stay the same, and that makes it easier to translate. But what the offense is looking to do will always be different when you get someone else on the play calling duties for the offense. So as soon as Noah gets settled into that and knows, okay, this is what I have to do to make this offense work, then it's going to be smooth sailing for him moving forward. I look forward to seeing what he does against New Mexico. I think this is going to be a very good tell to see where he's at with the new calling and the new offensive system in regards to, like I said, just the philosophy of it. And if he adjusts to it early and he makes it a very clear transition, I think he's going to be set once we get to the actual conference play.
And J-Dub, I think one of the things we're also going to see a lot of, and we did last year, and I think that'll continue, is really, getting him outside the pocket to allow him to not have to deal with a lot of hands in his face.
Well, I mean, your whole go-to, DK, is you like a taller quarterback, right?
Yeah.
And Noah proved last year. I mean, clearly the accuracy, finding those angles to fit it through those windows. It's really about where your eye line is and how to figure out. Because guess what? That old famous Super Bowl question that was asked so many years ago, Noah's always been short. Yeah. So it's like, it's not as if like he would know any other way to play quarterback. But you saw last year, whenever things broke down a little bit, he would always find a way to get out of the pocket, keep the plays alive. I know you would rather see him stay in there, get that ball out within a 3-5 count as fast as possible, and looking for those secondary and third wide receivers as opposed to some kind of broken play. But any combination of those two, he's proven that he can get that job done if the play does break down. So those wide receivers, those tight ends that are going to be much more in the picture this year than maybe last, Glenn Howe, big smile on his face. They just got to stay active, come back to the quarterback. Noah will make it happen.
All right, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. If you want to get in on the conversation, Noah Fafita, what you want to see in his first true season as a starter, and this is I guess, Sam, we'll get into this more but I want you to let you hear from Noah Fifita, who had a chance to talk today ahead of the season opener against New Mexico coming up this weekend, and he was asked really how this fall camp is different now with him being the starter and being the guy versus last year when he was the backup.
I think last year was more about kind of myself and really taking care of what I had to take care of, and now this year it's about the team and kind of having cohesion through all the position groups and not just worrying about my responsibility. So that's the biggest difference, and we have some really good people in our building, from coaches and players, that make my job easy to this day.
Do you find yourself watching almost as much, if not more, film of the other position groups as your own?
I always kind of just watched a lot of film. That was just kind of my nature to be prepared. So I wouldn't say there's a drastic difference in that phase.
One of New Mexico's DBs, I believe, was one of your teammates at Surviving, Noah Aminger. What's the scouting report on him?
He's a special player, and you kind of saw what he did last week. He played corner for us growing up, and obviously now he's playing safety. So playing that boundary safety, he's not scared to hit. A lot of their DBs had a lot of tackles, so that's definitely a fun group. We know that they're going to come down and play hard, so we're expecting a great opportunity to be able to play against a really good defense, a really good defensive coach, and we're just going to try to be the best us we could be.
How cool is it to see, not just at Arizona, but around college football, all the Surviving guys?
It's awesome. I mean, these guys that we grew up with, these are guys that we went through a lot of adversity with growing up, so it's special to see a lot of people live out their dreams.
No, when you walked out on the Gale Court 7 months ago, it was like you guys were ready to strap it up and play a game then. Has this felt like just a super long off season, or just how exciting is it to be in game?
It's super exciting. We're finally here. But I mean, I think through all of the things that we had to go through as a team, we're closer than we've ever been. You talk about the culture, and it's continued to grow. So I'm real excited to be able to finally play with these guys, be able to just compete at the highest level, and we're looking forward to just taking this 1 week at a time.
With all the individual work that T-Mac did before reintegrating himself into the offense, how do you think that might help him to become an even better player?
Yeah, you talk about T-Mac, you obviously first you think about all of the special intangibles he has and the athleticism that's God-given for him. But kind of just having that time with Coach Wade and having that time with Coach Carroll on the side, you could see him kind of building his repertoire from his speed and his strength to just little tricks that you've never seen him comfortable doing. He's trying new things in one-on-ones. He's trying new things in the game, and it's going to make him even a better receiver. So when you take the best player in the country and you give him more tools, it's kind of scary what he's going to do this year.
So now you're talking about the difference this year being essentially focus, right? Focusing on the bigger picture rather than yourself. What is that like for you?
I mean, it's not too different from how I was raised. Just kind of, it's always about the team. That's the main part, and that's just kind of Coach Brennan has kind of referenced that a lot. Coach Tomey's thing is the team, the team, the team. So that's just kind of how we're built. That's just kind of what we take pride in. And if we want to do what we want to do this year, it's about this team. It's about us. It's not about one individual.
You guys share with us just the relationship that you guys have as quarterback center. With that.
We got a special relationship, and that's kind of it's been a 3-year relationship now, and the first year and a half was just kind of me admiring his work ethic, his football IQ, and just the things that he's able to do. And then once I got in, he took so much weight off of my shoulders, so I'm forever indebted to him for that. But he makes my job easy, allows me to just kind of read the defense from a coverage standpoint while he takes care of all the pressures.
So Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt will be playing against his former team, personal game for him. Just what do you guys think about the addition and what he's brought to the team?
That kid's so special, and he's an All-American for a reason. I mean, you don't just throw that word around. So you see the kind of his capabilities. We understand this is a personal game for him, but at the end of the day, we've kind of been telling him all week that we have his back, and to not make this more than it is. We're just another football game, and we're looking forward to being able to be on the same team as him and kind of just let him do his thing.
And that was Noah Fifita right there talking today at the facility along with Dino Babers. You'll hear from him a little bit later on what his thoughts are going to be as he takes over as offensive coordinator his first season back here at the University of Arizona. And again, Noah's just like David said. I mean, Noah's very even-keeled. You can just hear it in his press conferences when he's talking that he does not get real up or real down. And it's going to be interesting. We haven't obviously seen him in a situation where he's had a tough time because he obviously won most of the games down the stretch that he started. And so we're going to, find out when adversity hits, is he going to be that same type of even-keeled player? We'll probably won't see any type of adversity, at least until we get to Kansas State in week 3. So it's going to be fun to watch the evolution. And what I was going to say prior to us going to him was that I really miss the old days of college football where you knew you were going to have this guy with these receivers, at least with him and T-Mac together for another full season after this season, because you would normally get that full 3 seasons with guys that you would get. You know you're probably going to have Noah here next year. T-Mac's not coming back after this season. It would be real fun to see these guys play together for 3 years and develop that type of chemistry where now you can really begin to take this program to another level. But T-Mac is such a high prospect that this is going to likely be it for him. So this has got to be the year that these two really, really make a statement as a tandem, because this is likely the final year that they will be playing together on the same team. But you never know. You never know what could happen down the road in the NFL. But definitely through high school and college together, finishing it out here at the University of Arizona. All right, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get on the program. We're going to get into our betting lines coming up next. We've been BetQLing the last week. I'll let you know how it's going so far. DK on the sports tip. We got JW Madden. We got Dragon Ball back with us. Cricket's getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Wilmot north of 29th Street reports of wires down on Wilmot to the north of 29th Street. And also at Hardy and Thornydale and Hardy, a vehicle fire. A small chance, 15% chance of rain today, 100 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. With Staples Hot Deals, you'll find super low prices on hundreds of items for back to school. Right now, 24-pack Crayola crayons and 2-pocket poly folders are just 50 cents each. Save even more with the Staples Easy Rewards program. In-store only offer ends 8/31, limit 10. Save big on back to school at Staples.
DJ on the sports tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Is Charlie Woods the most anticipated follow in the footsteps child of an athletic Hall of Famer we've ever had? Bronny James, as good as he may be, still has to compete within the parameters of a team sport. Golf is individual. Dale Earnhardt Jr. came along just at the beginning of the social media era. I don't know that there's anybody else.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
This number has gone too far.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Sean Furrier here for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care with an instant savings offer just for radio listeners. So if you need tires, right now is the time to save big on every tire brand and over 25,000 tires. You'll save big with manufacturer's rebates, and radio listeners unlock up to $200 savings on tires when you visit jackfurriers.com/radio. Huge savings on tires just for radio listeners. But you've got to visit jackfurriers.com/radio to unlock this special offer, which saves you more. Who thought you could get paid for listening to the radio? Jack Furrier has tires for your car, truck, 4x4, CUV, SUV, EV, hybrid, trailer, RV, even your wheelbarrow. All 14 of Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care's award-winning locations are standing by and ready to help with the very best prices on affordable tires and no hidden extras. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there. But make sure to get your extra instant savings at jackfurriers.com/radio.
Yeah, Goodfellas AC.
Hi, can I get a second opinion from you guys on something?
Of course. It's what we're here for.
So, my wife's brother claimed he'd done some AC repair before.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and now there's kind of a rope and pulley situation that opens the freezer door and a fan inside turns on to cool off the house.
Huh, very creative.
Really?
No, not at all. Next time, call us first, yeah?
Yeah.
Call Goodfellas AC for free estimates and second opinions. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. GoodfellasAC.com.
Get ready, Wildcats fans. We're bringing you the excitement as we kick off a new era in the Big 12. Tune in Saturday, August 31st as the Cats take on New Mexico. Kickoffs at 7:30, pregames at 3. Only on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
This is Jim Rome with a Sports Minute. I think everybody is a little confused about the actual status of the Drake May v. Jacoby Brissett competition in New England. And you know who we have to thank for that, don't you? Gerard Mayo. So maybe they don't want to just throw the rookie to the Wolves right off the bat in week 1. I get that. Problem is, Gerard just came out and told us that May has been the better of the two. I'm Jim Rome.
One in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1. And literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for $2. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. Hope you enjoyed the first Brent Brennan radio show last night out at Union Public House. J-Dub, how did the coach sound? You were here and anchoring that.
Yeah, sounded great. I mean, I think, you know, I've heard a lot of people express the opinion that it seems like Coach Brennan is, you know, giving a little shorter answers than they might be used to. And from my perspective, DK, it's very simple. 7 months of being asked the same damn question, right? It's like, what's your view for the program? How do you feel that the offense is going to, all the same questions. He's ready for how do you feel about how the offensive line looked? He's ready for some past tense questions after Saturday. So that's what I heard last night. Other than that, the voice of the Wildcats sounded great. Coach Brennan sounded great. I think it all went off. I mean, I'm not the one probably to ask the opinion because I'm here producing the show, but I think it sounded great.
There you go. So you can hear it every Monday night right here on Wildcats Radio 1290 starting at 6:05 from the Union Public House. Head on up there. I heard they had a good crowd up for the first show. So next Monday there will be a show, even though next Monday is a holiday. We will not have a show. We will not work next Monday. We'll take the day off and enjoy Labor Day. But there will be a Coach Brent Brennan show next Monday, just so you're aware of that, J-Dub, in case you weren't.
So when you say we won't be working, what you really mean is you won't be working.
And J-Dub and, I think everybody else starts after that. So, we will not be working, but you'll have to. You'll babysit the coach. And,
not a problem.
And Brian.
I'll be here.
I'm sure they'll be comfortable with that. All right. Again, 520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. Let's talk to our guy, Paul in Phoenix. Paul, you're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, David. Hey, J-Dub. And the other David also, the Dragon Ball. Hey, guys. So, obviously, of course, the Cat Cruiser's back online again. And for those people who are not sure about it, it's like, let's use it so we don't lose it. How about that?
Cat Cruiser is back, but Bear Down Fridays is not, at least not until October.
Isn't that crazy?
You're never here on Fridays though, Paul. So that has
I'm never here on Friday. Rarely. Once I try to make one a year, but I haven't made it for. I think it's been 2 years since I've been there. But hey, David, you kind of struck a chord with me real quick here. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm you know me. I'm the biggest homer, probably one of the biggest homers. But you mentioned, of course, T-Mac. First round pick. Okay. What a healthy season for Noah. And a good season for Noah. Okay, I'm not even going to say great season. A great season would be wonderful, right? Okay. Would he consider leaving?
Noah?
I guess I'm asking the question.
Leaving to go to the National Football League, or maybe leaving to go to a bigger program?
Leaving to go to the National Football League.
I would doubt it. He would have to have just an unbelievable season and win. If he wins the Heisman Trophy, which we're going to get into our betting because we did bet on that. If he wins the Heisman Trophy, that's the only way I see him potentially leaving after this year. Because again, unless he just wanted to be the guy, because again, nobody's won back-to-back since the great Archie Griffin did it in 74, 75. So unless he just would want to come back and try to be the first to do that, but I just don't know. Even if he had that kind of season, I don't. You know me, I'm a tall. We talked about it in the first segment. I'm a tall quarterback type of guy. I just don't know if Noah would be ready for the NFL at that point.
Well, he's not going to grow any taller.
True.
Okay,
but he can get better. He can get more seasons.
But you know what though? He from a game. I just love the kid's attitude, and people in Tucson, of course, everybody knows it, but we just got to keep repeating it. The kid's attitude is great. He's not just about football. He's just a good person, really good person. Okay, and you know what? What if as a game manager? What if he manages his team? And I don't know if you've done any sort of preseason predictions yet. And last year, I got lucky, and so I want to do it. I'm not sure about this team because I'm not sure about the coaches. I would love 9-3 again. I'm thinking 8-4, but I'd still love 9-3, and I would welcome 10-2, right? So, and if it's 10-2, it's primarily because of Noah, because he's managing the game, and he's letting the offense. He's just managing the game. So he's got the smarts, and that's the thing. At the next level, you need a quarterback who can manage the game. How big is Brock Purdy?
I think he's a little bit taller than. He's at least 6 foot, I would think.
He's like
he's got to be 3 or 4. I think he's like 6'1".
Yeah.
Is he 6? I thought he was 6. Okay, but again. I'm a homer for the Cardinals too. Kyler Murray, okay? I think it's Kyler's turn to have a breakout season, okay? Now, if Kyler has a breakout season, it's going to only help Noah's stock if Noah has a good season too. That maybe short quarterbacks can do it in the right system. But anyway, so we'll leave it at that. So, but you did strike a chord with me because I don't want to lose Noah, but I'm prepared for him to go on to the next level. After this year.
Well, Dragon Ball and I were just talking in the break about, T-Mac's draft prospects, and if we thought maybe he was top 10, maybe even top 5. But Dragon Ball, do you think a Heisman Trophy season could potentially propel Noah Fifita to the NFL?
If you got a Heisman Trophy in your back pocket, any GM is going to go ahead and take a look at you. I mean, we're talking... The other thing about it with Noah Fifita's size and comparison and making the comparison to Kyler Murray, That's a very different style of quarterback. Noah's not a dude that wants to use his legs to be a big weapon like Kyler does. That's the biggest thing. If you get another big season out of if you want to compare it to another short quarterback in the same style as Noah Fafita's style of play, if Russell Wilson can have another big year, then maybe there's a shot that Noah goes ahead and gets some comparisons to that. But the biggest thing about it too is that the quarterback position is so top heavy when it comes to the draft, because we had however many draft picks in the first round that were quarterbacks. The next quarterback that got drafted after all those guys' had their names called, you didn't get another quarterback drafted until the 5th round. I mean, there's a huge gap in between that. So if you're going to make that jump early, if you're Noah, you have to be dead certain you're getting a first-round draft pick.
Let me just say this. I think talking about the NFL draft before the first college game of the year is silly as can get. However, since you brought it up, there was a mock draft put out last week.
Really?
And Noah is not on the board, but T-Mac to the Steelers at 13 is what they have. They also have 2 other Arizona Wildcats going in the first round, Big Jonah and also Tacario Davis.
Yeah. I could definitely see Tacario getting
So those guys are, all 3 of those guys are graded currently as first-round draft picks.
You know what, David? Let the voice of reason work on Labor Day. That's it. So that type of comment, you're working on Labor Day. I've got it. He brings me back to earth. You know what, guys? I'm looking forward to seeing you guys Saturday. I'm going to make it a point to try to get over there and see you guys. Tucson, get out and support this team. I'm telling you, how fun would it be if after the first game, second game, and we get into October, November, and all of a sudden we're like, wait a second, we're joking about Heisman and kind of tongue in cheek in it. Why not? Why not us? Right? Look what we did last year. Why not? Why not? It'd be kind of fun.
Not us? I like that.
It'd be fun. Hey guys, thanks so much. Bear down.
Bear down to you. See you on Saturday. Paul in Phoenix, who will be on the Cat Cruiser, which again is brought back. It was going away, but now it's brought back. So if you're in Phoenix and you're listening to the show, opportunity to jump on the Cat Cruiser and head on down here to see the Wildcats.
Got the Cat Cruiser coming back. You got me coming back. It's just a year of returns.
Everybody's coming back. And we got to love that for sure. 520-848-1290. That opens up a line for you if you want to get in on today's program. Lot in store coming up for you. We're going to talk some high school football in the next hour. And also, we're going to talk some U of A football in the 5 o'clock hour as Glenn Howell will join us for that. So looking forward to Glenn. We're also going to get into our BetQLs that we were doing last week. So just kind of remind you what we did here. Okay, so 3 times a day here on Wildcats Radio 1290, you hear information from BetQL. You may listen to, they do a show on Saturday. I believe it's Saturday morning at around 7 a.m. on here on Wildcats Radio 1290, where they talk about the lines for the weekend and all that kind of thing. And then 3 times a day, Monday through Friday, you'll hear different little they call them 5-star bets and that kind of thing that they will hand out to you. So what we decided to do last week was we were going to play some of these on our account, and we're going to 12.90 is the bet. And I mentioned that we laid down our 12.90, and Jada, bring Dragon Ball up to speed on our Noah bet.
Yeah, about 2 months ago, we saw some blurb about the Heisman, the odds to win the Heisman preseason, and we thought, hey, I wonder where Noah's on that list. And we, I think he was at 9th or 10th, 12th, something along those lines, and we just came up with the idea that if we bet for the station $12.90, that we could, put it on prop bets like that throughout the season. When he wins the Heisman, we will then donate it to his favorite charity of his choice.
And I think we played $12.90. So if he wins, because I think he's plus 4,000, it's like $500 or something like that. So we would donate. It's a little over 500. It's like $530. So we would donate about $500 to Noah's favorite charity or preferred charity. So that's one of the things we're doing. And then the other thing we were doing just last week was we decided to play some of these 5-star bets to see if the people at BetQL know what they're talking about. So we'll tell you in the next hour. We've played, I think, 7 days. We played all 5 days last week. and one day this week, and we're going to play one today. So we played 6 already. We'll tell you where we are after 6 bets coming up. All right. At the end of the hours from here moving forward, now that Dragon Ball is back in studio with us, he is going to tell you what's happening here in terms of sports in Southern Arizona as well as across the country with his 2020 update.
Wildcats Radio 1290. 2020 Sports.
All right, well, the 3 Wildcats that had their names called this past April, guess what? They've all made the 53-man rosters. Congratulations go out to Jordan Morgan, Jacob Cowing, and Tanner McLaughlin. They make the Green Bay Packers, the 49ers, and the Cincinnati Bengals rosters, respectively. Congratulations go out to them. For the Cardinals, they will not have first-round pick linebacker Darius Robinson for the first part of their season. He has been designated for the injured reserve, but he is designated to return somewhere later on this season. And after 2 years with the Chiefs and winning a Super Bowl with them against the Eagles, wideout Kadarius Toney was cut by the team after not being able to find a trade partner this offseason. So Kadarius Toney officially a free agent. That's your 2020 Sports Update here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Wilmot north of 29th Street, please completely avoid Wilmot north of 29th Street due to down poles and wires, and specifically northbound Wilmot north of 29th Street blocked. So you could use Kolb or maybe Craycroft instead. Earlier vehicle fire occurred at Hardy and Thornydale and Hardy. And for your weather, there's a small chance of showers today and 100 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Time with family, laughs with friends, and cash back? Discover's got you covered on the last one. That's because Discover doubles all the cash back you've earned on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cash Back Match. See terms at discover.com/credit card.
Sean Furrier here for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care with an instant savings offer just for radio listeners. So if you need tires, right now is the time to save big on every tire brand and over 25,000 tires. You'll save big with manufacturer's rebates, and radio listeners unlock up to $200 savings on tires when you visit jackfurriers.com/radio. Huge savings on tires just for radio listeners. But you've got to visit jackfurriers.com/radio to unlock this special offer, which saves you more. Who thought you could get paid for listening to the radio? Jack Furrier has tires for your car, truck, 4x4, CUV, SUV, EV, hybrid, trailer, RV, even your wheelbarrow. All 14 of Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care's award-winning locations are standing by and ready to help with the very best prices on affordable tires and no hidden extras. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Since 1960, we're here to get you there. But make sure to get your extra instant savings at jackfurriers.com/radio.
Attention Tucson! We bring you every minute of Arizona men's basketball, both home and away, all season long. We are the home of the Arizona Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Get your backyard summer ready with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you want to dive in this summer, now is the time to visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. Ask about our 60-day pool. To be summer ready, First Choice is the only choice.
Get ready, Wildcats fans. We're bringing you the excitement as we kick off a new era in the Big 12. Tune in Saturday, August 31st as the Cats take on New Mexico. Kickoffs at 7:30, pregames at 3. Only on Wildcats Radio 1290.
What's with the earmuffs, Gary?
Holy cannoli. I just got back from a house with the loudest AC I've ever heard.
In other words, it wasn't installed right.
It must have been installed upside down for all that noise.
If you want the air conditioner built for Arizona heat, get the super quiet Grizzly from Alaskan AC.
If your air conditioner sounds like...
It could sound like...
We stop vibrations so your AC runs smooth and cool.
People all over Arizona are singing about the Grizzly.
If you want the air conditioner built for Arizona heat, get the super quiet Grizzly from Alaskan AC.
Shh! Hear that?
I don't hear anything.
That means...
The Grizzly is doing its job, keeping you cool
with barely a purr.
We believe ACs should sound like this.
Because we do things the Alaskan way, not the cheap way.
If you want the air conditioner built for Arizona heat, get the super quiet Grizzly from Alaskan AC.
Privacy
policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
If you're using Viagra or Cialis or have thought about using them, listen up. Zelty is introducing Zelty Hardies, new 2-in-1 dissolving tablets that get you ready for action in 15 minutes and keep you ready for up to 48 hours. They contain sildenafil and tadalafil, the active ingredients in Viagra and Cialis, but cost 90% less than those brand names. You heard me right. Using both active ingredients and this quick dissolving mechanism allows sildenafil to work in around 15 minutes, and the tadalafil keeps you ready for up to 48 hours. It's powerful results that cost around 90% less. Text REACT to 200-300 to get started. With Zelty, enjoy fast, free, discreet shipping without the hassle of any awkward, time-wasting visits to the doctor's office. We make access as seamless as possible so you can focus on your life and your love life. Get your free medical review and Zelty Hardies, a new way to treat ED. Today, text REACT to 200-300 now. Don't wait. Text REACT to 200-300 right away. Text REACT to 200-300.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the only sports station that brings you the Tommy Lloyd Radio Show, live coverage of his press conferences, and men's basketball play-by-play. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
Wait, what's the CNWT?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
David Amata.
Hey, that's Dragon Ball to you.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Yeah, I like that. Get my guitar intro. I don't think the guitar was on the other intro when it was just 3 of us. So I get my guitar back again now.
Dan might have taken it out.
Yeah, I like that. Guitar. Hour number 2 on this Tuesday. The show has grown by 1 as Dragon Ball David Amata is back with us on the show. Welcome back, Dragon Ball.
Thank you very much for having me.
I mentioned that we are going to be having more members of the family here shortly, hopefully at least beginning next week. We know one for sure will be beginning next week. We'll have another female member of our team, Priscilla Mugwa, who is, I believe, just about to graduate from the University of Arizona, either at the end of this semester or somewhere. She may actually have already graduated. I forget off the top of my head. But looking forward to having her. You'll see her out and about at some of our events, doing social media and doing some writing and definitely covering some of the sports as well. As in here, we'll see if she does not know a lot about sports, so we're going to have to teach her a lot about it. But she knows a lot more about social media, I think, than I do.
She's from Belgium.
Yes, from Belgium. She went to Cal State Bakersfield, another one of my old haunts.
I had to ask her what LA life was like after coming from Belgium, and she said, not as good as Tucson. That was what she said.
Not as good as Tucson.
Yeah, she likes Tucson a lot better than Southern California, is what she said.
Well, you heard Dragon Ball in his update, if you were with us at the top of the hour, mentioned that all 3 of the Wildcat draftees have made their rosters, as it is cut down day in the National Football League. And in fact, they think the deadline I don't know if it was 4 o'clock our time. It might have been 4 o'clock in the East, but teams had to get down to 53 men by today. Now, at last check, Tyler Manoa was the only one of the undrafted free agents that I had seen that was on the cut list in terms of guys that were not drafted, signed as free agents, and were in camps. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But this is always an interesting day in the National Football League. The Turk, as they say, when the Turk comes a-calling, because for a lot of these guys who have been playing this game for their entire lives, it comes to an end. Now, there will be guys that potentially could get re-signed onto practice squads, but a lot of football lives come to an end on the last Tuesday in August, and it can be a sad day when you've been playing this game, guys, all your life, and all of a sudden you are no longer going to be playing it.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of stories that come to a very quick and ignominious end the minute that guy tells you that you need to bring your playbook and the coach needs to see you. This is actually a weird era, though, for football, because there are alternatives now to the NFL where guys can go and play professionally in different leagues that aren't the arena league. I mean, we all know the story about like Kurt
Talking
Warner.
about wrestling?
Well, sponsored by wrestling. That's but you do have a couple of guys that even got training camp invites because of their time with the USFL, UFL, and I believe one of the guys that sadly he was one of the first guys cut out in Cincinnati, Hakeem Butler. He was I believe the offensive MVP of the league last season. So you get some guys that do have an ability to go ahead and make a new name for themselves with these new professional leagues that are around there. And there's a good chance that some of these guys are going to go and find new houses someplace else. Again, not to the same stratosphere as the NFL, but it's enough that the NFL will take notice, as we saw with a couple of these guys that got invites.
And to DK's point, the issue obviously is, unless you can be point guard for the Knicks, there's no better athletic job in the world than an NFL player, right? I mean, with all the benefits and the salaries these days are insane. And on top of that, there's also no positions that are more in demand, right? And there's more people who are trying to, get one of those spots now more than ever. So having all those different leagues around, don't lose the will. Don't lose that dream. It doesn't matter. You might be in your early to mid-20s just because in NFL, you don't make an NFL roster right now. Keep the dream alive. Keep working at it. And your skill set may be needed down the road because there's always availability. And there's also a next young group of guys coming up waiting to take those places. So, yeah, I completely agree, Dragon Ball. There's so many opportunities now. You think about like when we were starting to watch it earlier, like you just didn't have all those opportunities worldwide. And, Canadian Football League's been there. Real quick, on an aside, this has to do with the story that just came out today, but it's basketball related. The 4-point play, guys, got put into the Filipino Basketball League, which is the second oldest league in the world to the NBA.
Right.
Today, a Filipino team won on a 4-point shot at the buzzer for the first time ever.
Wow.
And it happened to be against Rondae Hollis Jefferson's team, who is no longer in the NBA and has found a place. He's playing in the Filipino Basketball League this year. So the clip is, of course, Rondae really mad because they didn't foul because there's like 3 seconds left in the clock. There's an extra line, if you're not familiar. There's like an extra line beyond the 3-point line
what it was exactly.
that counts for 4. They just put it in. So there's a great clip of Rondae Hollis Jefferson really mad because one of his teammates didn't foul and let him get off the 4-point shot, which won the game.
Wow, I'd not heard 4-point play in basketball before. That's new.
They'll introduce that probably in the NBA in-season tournament.
We don't need another excuse for like 10-year-olds shooting from 30 feet away. Steph already gave them that for the last 10 years. There's already enough of that. Ask Kelvin. Everybody pre-high school wants to shoot from Steph range. So, yeah, just another reason to get out there.
The Cardinals released their cut list today. I don't know if there's any huge surprises on here. Desmond Ridder might be maybe one of the surprises. He was battling with Justin Toone for that backup spot, and Desmond Ridder let go. He was the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. He was Bijan Robinson's quarterback at the beginning of last season, and now he could potentially be out of the league. Andre Baccellia, wide receiver, that's another one I thought maybe he might make it, a guy that was known for his speed, one of those fringe wide receiver guys, but he was released. Just looking down through the list, it doesn't look like there's any other major names from the Cardinals. I did see J.J. Taylor was let go by the Texans, the Houston Texans. He was in camp with them, and I just want to see if Levi Wallace is on here. It does not appear his name is on the cut list with the Denver Broncos, so it looks like Levi, who will likely make that team and be on his third NFL team. So good for Levi Wallace out of Tucson High School. 520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. If you want to get in on if you've heard of any cuts that maybe we have not yet, we'll continue kind of scrolling through this list and seeing what names pop up. But I wanted to get into the BetQL because we were doing this last week. And so 3 times a day, BetQL, you'll hear them give out their 5-star, they call them 5-star bets, 5-star information on what games you need to be playing. So I decided that I was gonna start seeing if they're any good at this because why not? If it's gonna be on our station, I want to make sure that people are getting good betting information, right? So we started playing these. So we played 6 games last week, and because there was one day they gave us 2, so we played them both. So last Monday, they told us to play the Dodgers on the money line. I think that was against Seattle, and they won. It was a 3-0 win. So we started off the week well. Then Tuesday was a disaster. They told us to take the Reds on the road and the run line in Toronto, and they lost by 8 runs.
I remember that you explained the logic behind that, because apparently on the road, the Reds against the run line
it was like 67%.
Yeah.
It was like 67%. Yeah. Well,
there's logic behind
that. That was one of those 33% nights. The Mets on the over the Orioles on the money line, that did not work out because the Mets, I think, lost by 7 runs that night. So that was a complete disastrous betting night there. And then it was, Wednesday, they gave us, actually, I didn't write down the Wednesday one. So Thursday, they gave us 2. They gave us the Yankees on the money line against the Indians. And unfortunately, that was a winner for the Yankees. And they told us to take the over on Atlanta and the Phillies. That was a loser. And then Friday, they told us to take the Braves on the run line. I believe it was against the Nationals. And that ended up being a loss because the run line, if you're not familiar, is generally 1.5. Sometimes it can be as high as 2.5, but generally it's either -1.5 or +1.5. And the Braves only won over the Nationals that night by 1 run. So last week on 6 bets, we were 2-4. 2-4. I would expect the BetQL people to be a little bit better than 2-4.
Those darn Reds on the road better struggle more. That's all I got to say.
So today, yesterday they told us to take Yankees on the run line against the Nationals, and that game hit. They won 5-2. And then today's bet was, let's let you hear today's bet right now.
I'm Chelsea Messenger, helping you beat the books with BetQL. The Cubs and Pirates had a slugfest on Monday night as Chicago won in Pittsburgh 18-8. The same 2 teams back at it again today with Justin Steele going for the Cubs and Jared Jones for the Pirates. Even with better starters going today, the BetQL model is still expecting the bats to stay hot for both teams. The 5-star best bet in Major League Baseball is taking the over between the Cubs and the Pirates. Bet smarter and beat the books with BetQL and download the BetMGM app today.
All right, so the over is what they're saying in this game today. Because, again, yesterday the Pirates and the Cubs combined for 26 runs, because it was 18-8. So they're saying take the over today, which was 8.5. And, that's high. It can be high. But in the bottom of the second, the Pirates already have 2 runs. So it's 2-0 in the bottom of the second. So we took that bet today. We took the Pirates and the Cubs on the over at 8.5. They're also throwing out some of the college games for this weekend. Here's one. I'll get your guys' thoughts on this, because the big game of the weekend is Notre Dame and Texas A&M. I believe this is a road game, if I'm not mistaken, for Notre Dame. They're playing this game in, what do they call it? College Station. Notre Dame +3. Does that sound good, you guys? Notre Dame +3?
Ooh, I don't know about that. I would actually say that's probably a little bit that's being nice about it. I would say that's probably a game I would give Texas A&M the upper hand on that one, maybe by 5.5.
What's a road game, like 3.5 points? I think
something like that.
Yeah,
typically the field goal is.
So basically, they're saying that they're they're a point better. In other words, than the on-road College Station spread would be. I think Notre Dame, obviously, I don't have in front of me all the pieces that they're bringing back, but, the way they've got that program going now, there were some struggles there, 8 years ago, but right now they're ranked 7th in the nation to start the season. I think you're going to see lines close like that early in the season, because look what just happened in week 0. Right? The one favorite that going in, the Seminoles, did not get the job done.
No.
So, again, I think a lot of the lines you're going to see are going to be a little bit on precautionary, more so than you will see in week 2, 3, 4, once people are really established what some of those younger players who they haven't really seen on film have to offer.
I think that the big thing for me is just the last couple years with Notre Dame, they have been upset central in regards to just when they go on the road. Specifically, just last year they lost to a ranked Louisville team by almost 2 touchdowns, And they also lost to a Clemson team that had been knocked out of the top 25 in the world of Howard's Rock. So when they go on the road, Notre Dame, they will have difficulties against a more higher-powered program. And Texas A&M's no slouch. I mean, there's a reason this particular game, between those two, they're both ranked. Texas A&M is the 20th best team in the country, according to most polls. So I would say I would take Texas A&M for the win on that one.
There you go. Notre Dame is ranked 7th. Texas A&M is ranked 20th. Obviously, this game, though, is at Kyle Field in College Station. So the BetQL 5-star right now is to take Notre Dame +3. We'll go over some of the other college games that they're giving us later in the week. They are telling you to take USC Sunday night against LSU. That game will be in Las Vegas. It opened at 6, -6 for LSU, but the line now is down to 4.5. For the Tigers. The Trojans come in ranked 23rd. LSU is ranked 13th to start the preseason. The game here in Tucson is right now at 31.5 in favor of the Arizona Wildcats against the New Mexico Lobos, who, of course, blew a 17-point lead in the final 10 minutes of their game Saturday against Montana State, losing at home 35-31.
Yeah, I don't know what it started at, but I saw 31, so that definitely means money's coming in on the Arizona side of things.
Yeah.
It's so tough because you got a new coaching staff, right? So they're going to try to get some players in. They want to see what those guys can do in a real game, in a real situation. So big numbers like that, it has to be, super blowout early because you know that if they have, a 20-plus point lead somewhere in the fourth quarter, they're probably going to bring some of the bench guys in, right?
Indeed, for sure. All right, so we'll have to keep an eye on the Cubs and the Pirates tonight, taking the over 8.5. It's 2-0 right now in the second inning. 520-848-1290. We're going to talk some high school football. Kirby Bolnow, one of the most respected officials in high school football, is going to join us coming up. We'll talk some high school football with him. We'll talk some youth football with him and get his thoughts on this new season. He worked the game Friday night that we were at, Sabino beating Coolidge 40-0. DK on the Sports Tip, cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions reported, Ajo Way west of I-19, 22nd Street west of Wilmot with eastbound backups on 22nd Street approaching Wilmot. Possible collision, heavy backups northbound on Campbell as you approach Roger Road. Wilmot north of 29th Street is closed. Wilmot north of 29th is blocked off due to down poles and wires. Use Kolb or Craycroft instead. And your weather, 15% chance of rain and 100 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's knows saving pros time and money means getting the job done easier. Right now, get up to 50% off select composite decking and railing because Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen here. Tune in each weekday from noon to 3 p.m. for The Rich Eisen Show, right here on Tucson's home of Arizona Wildcats football.
Touchdown, Arizona!
And the National Football League. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Wildcats Radio 1290 is proud to support your Arizona Wildcats football team with their first home game this Saturday at Arizona Stadium.
This week, the Cats take on New Mexico. Kickoff is scheduled for 7:30 p.m.
To get your tickets, visit ArizonaWildcats.com or call 621-CATS. For more University of Arizona Wildcat football, including a complete schedule and link to buy tickets online, log on to KHID1075.com.
What's with the earmuffs, Gary?
Holy cannoli. I just got back from a house with the loudest AC I've ever heard.
In other words, it wasn't installed right.
It must have been installed upside down for all that noise.
If you want the air conditioner built for Arizona heat, get the super quiet Grizzly from Alaskan AC.
If your air conditioner sounds like...
It could sound like...
We stop vibration so your AC runs smooth and cool.
People all over Arizona are singing about the Grizzly.
If you want the air conditioner built for Arizona heat, get the super quiet Grizzly from Alaskan AC.
Shh, hear that?
I don't hear anything.
That means
The Grizzlies doing its job, keeping you cool
with barely a purr.
We believe ACs should sound like this.
because we do things the Alaskan way, not the cheap way.
If you want the air conditioner built for Arizona heat, get the super quiet Grizzly from Alaskan AC.
Need a little help? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Need advice? We've got advice. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Exceptional customer service. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Guess what, people? Wendy's has new saucy nugs. You heard me. Wendy's nugs now come in 7 saucy flavors. Buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, spicy ghost pepper. You can literally hear your taste buds after every bite. I'm serious. Listen to mine. Okay, that's just me playing with sound effects, but you got the idea. For a whole new way to nug, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TAP to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text TAP to 321321. That's TAP to 321321.
Like us on Facebook at Wildcats 1290 for all the latest news on the Arizona Wildcats, including exclusive original content and interviews. This is the exclusive home of Arizona football. Wildcats Radio 1290.
I'm Taylor Rashadi with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb's summer standoff has finally come to an end, agreeing to a 4-year, $136 million contract extension with $100 million guaranteed, according to NFL Network insiders Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport. The deal will pay Lamb the second highest average annual salary for a wide receiver at $34 million per year, coming in just behind the Vikings' Justin Jefferson. Lamb led the NFL with 135 receptions last season. Meantime, wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster is back in Kansas City, signing with the Chiefs, according to Tom Pelissero. He was recently released by the Patriots and now reunites with the Chiefs, where he played in 2022. Browns running back Nick Chubb will start the season on the reserve physically unable to perform list and will miss at least the first 4 games of the season. Chubb is working his way back from a knee injury he suffered during Week 2 last season. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Hi, welcome to Staples.
Yeah, my daughter needs a laptop for college, but I need to watch the budget.
Well, Staples hot deals on tech are backed by a price match guarantee, so our prices won't be beat.
Great. I can't believe my baby's starting college.
She'll do great.
I know.
Oh, let's get you a great deal on a laptop.
Save big on tech for school at Staples. Now get up to $300 off select PCs. Ends 8/31. Price match guarantee valid within 14 days of purchase. Exclusions apply. For details, visit staples.com/price match.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1. And literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get a $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for a second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is our number. Give us a call, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on everything we've been talking about. Betting lines, high school football, college football, the Wildcats that have made NFL teams, the Wildcats that have not made NFL teams. We'd love to hear your thoughts on all that. But right now we're going to talk some high school football. It is officially now week 2 of the season. It'll be the opening week for the large schools, conferences 4, 5, and 6A. The smaller conferences started their seasons last week, 1, 2, and 3A. We were up at over at Sabino, did the show. It's almost Friday night. Ahead of the game, we got rained on, we got stormed on, but as always, as the case, the clouds broke as the game started, and we had football without any interruptions. And one of the gentlemen who officiated the game that night joins us right now. Longtime local football official Kirby Bolnow is our guest. Kirby, appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. How did things go for the crew the first night out, Friday night at Sabino?
Hey, David, thanks for having me. I think we did a solid job. It was just like the players are not going to rust off. We're not going to rust off. We've all worked a couple scrimmages, but, Friday Night Lights is a whole different animal. Brent Brennan was talking about the college experience being magical. I think the high school experience on Friday nights is equally as magical, and everyone's a little bit amped up, and we'll all get into our groove. Yeah, it was a good night. It was a fun night.
Now, I was kind of working on the sideline that you were operating in that first half, and I heard you keep saying as Sabino would get close to scoring, you kept saying, "I've got the goal line." Tell folks what that means when you say that.
Yeah, so David, we operate out of a mechanics manual. And if you noticed on Friday night, we were working a 7-man crew. We do that mostly during playoffs, but during the season, we try and work some of that in. That wasn't my crew on Friday night. I was on Rich Hall's crew, working as the deep wing. So, not to over-explain things, because that's what referees do, right? When we have a 7-man crew, the deep wings, I was a side judge, we're responsible from the goal line from the 25-yard line to the 7-yard line. From the 7-yard line to the goal line, we go back to the end line, and the short wing now has responsibility for a goal line. So it's just the crew communicating who's doing what. So we don't have that miscommunication is where stuff breaks down.
Yeah. You mentioned you were working on a crew with Rich Hall, his crew. For those that don't know, Rich Hall used to referee in the National Football League. So these kids don't know how good they have it, having a mind like him on the field with them.
Rich is a great dude. He retired from the NFL after 20 years. He doesn't like to talk about it, but he worked the World Bowl in Europe, and he's worked 3 conference championships in the NFL. And, he retired and came back here to Tucson to work high school again. And it's awesome when I get a chance to work with Rich.
Kirby Bolnow is our guest. Kirby and Kirby's dog. What's your dog's name, Kirby?
Well, that was Roxy.
Roxy, all right.
And then Marshall's here, too. Don't leave him out.
Oh, Marshall's with you. All right. And what type of dogs do we have?
Roxy's a terrier, Manchester Terrier, and Marshall's a pug Chihuahua mix.
Nice.
He's got a bad attitude.
Oh boy, bad attitude. I've seen a few of those dogs too that don't have good attitudes. Kirby, obviously, what are some of the rule changes that we're going to be seeing in high school football this year?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, the Rules Committee, the National Federation, thinks we're in a pretty good spot. There was really the one rule change that they put out really was just a tweak, which was around jerseys, right? There was a rule that said home jerseys have to be dark and clearly contrast white. That left a loophole, right? Because, a team the defense could wear red jerseys and the offense could wear blue jerseys, and technically by the letter of the law, they're both dark jerseys. So they just closed the loophole and said they have to be all the same color and dark.
Had you ever seen that? Like, was there actually teams that would wear 2 different color jerseys? I'd never seen that.
No, but where you kind of you might get 1 or 2 kids because they got the wrong number or something happened or that 1 or 2 kids has a different jersey. It's pretty rare, especially at the high school level.
Chatting with Kirby Bowl now, official, high school football official here in Southern Arizona. Kirby, I know there's right now we have a shortage of officials. What kind of walk us through what's happening with that? I know there's we got this Saturday. Pueblo's going to be playing their opener on a Saturday morning, and according to Sly Lewis, that one of the reasons why is because there is a shortage of officials. That is the reason that's happening. We're seeing there's going to be a number of Thursday games this week as well, which is not necessarily unusual for early in the season, but I think I'm seeing more Thursday games throughout the season, throughout the totality of the season as well. Where are we right now in terms of officials, and if people want to get involved, is it still an opportunity for them to do so?
Yeah, so actually, we the last couple of years have done a pretty good job. This year, we have about 100 officials registered, 10 new ones. Last year, we had 20 new ones, and a large majority of those came back again, right? Which is that's the important thing, is getting guys to come back for year 2 and year 3. After year 3, we kind of got them hooked, and then they become like me, a lifer. My back judge is starting his 31st year. I'm starting my 17th year. I got 2 guys on my crew that are around 17, 18 years. I think the youngest guy the least experienced guy on our crew has 12 years.
Now you have your own crew.
And yeah, I work with the same 4 guys every Friday night, unless there's some, one of my guys in the middle of September is going out of town. So they'll put a replacement in for him. But we're getting better. The challenge is, we could cover all the games. Like this Friday, everyone's going to be working, which is great. The challenge is when you got to put a newer guy on a varsity game. When I came up, my first 2 years, I just worked JV and freshman. Mm-hmm. We don't have that luxury right now, right? So to kind of take some pressure out of the hose, the schools are being very accommodating by moving some games to Thursday and Saturday.
Yeah, Empire will play Thursday night at home. Ironwood Ridge is also in Southern Arizona at home this Thursday night. We mentioned Pueblo will play Saturday morning at 10 a.m. in their opener against Nogales. Kirby Bowl now taking a few minutes to join us. Kirby, you put out a post over the summer talking about your decision to walk away from youth football. Why did you do that? Why did you decide to do that? And what are some of the things that we're seeing maybe on the youth scene that need to be corrected?
Well, it's like anywhere else, David, right? The key factor for officials leaving the game is sportsmanship. Now, I have some ulterior motives, right? I just had a brand new grandbaby born in March.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted to take my Saturdays back, right? Thank you. Last year I worked 41 youth games.
Oh, wow.
I'm an old guy. After getting to bed at midnight from a Friday night game and getting up for an 8 o'clock youth game is difficult, right? And so, I just saw it as the time to kind of take my Saturdays back, and I'm sure if there was, some urgent need, I would probably jump back in and work a couple games, but I just can't work 4 or 5 games on a Saturday anymore.
Are you working flag football as well?
I am, right? And when we talk about official shortages, it's not only that there are fewer officials, there's more games.
Yeah.
Right? Flag football is blowing up across the state. Tucson had 2 teams last year. I think they have 9 this year. Phoenix, I don't know. They had 50 last year. I have no idea how many they have, but I've heard, upwards 70, 80, 90 teams across all of Arizona are now playing flag football. So, those are 1 or 2 more games a week that we have to fill with. We use three-person crews for flag, but still that's 3 guys that can't maybe work a JV game on a Thursday night.
We're chatting with Kirby Bowl now, high school football official here in Southern Arizona. You mentioned you work with the same 4 guys. So a normal crew is 5, but you mentioned you had 7 on the game the other night, but a normal crew is 5. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. And so where will you guys be this weekend?
We are at Mountain View Marana against Gilbert.
Mountain View, okay. Gilbert and Mountain View Marana. So when you guys get there, what are walk people through, like, your pregame routine, like the things that you do to get your mind ready, to get the guys you're working with ready, and the conversations you're having with the coaches and the players about how everybody wants this thing to go on Friday nights?
Yeah, sure. And it starts long before Friday night, to be honest, David. Like, as the White Hat crew chief, on Sundays, I'll prepare an email to the athletic director at the home school. Let them know who the crew is. They already kind of know, but just formalize, here's my crew. Here's when we're going to be at the school. We need, if you can do your best, to have the clock operator, ball boys, and chain crew on the field by 6:30 so we can meet with them.
And I think we may have lost Kirby there. We'll see if we can get him back. Kirby Bull, now official here in Southern Arizona, and was talking about a little bit about his decision to walk away from youth football, and a lot of that was personal to wanting some more time. But as he mentioned, we were seeing a lot of sportsmanship issues on the local levels, on the youth levels, and a lot of it is not necessarily the kids, David. A lot of it is the parents.
It's always going to be a lot of situations where the parents are getting on the officials saying that, they're not calling the games right and everything like that. Parents need to understand it's a game. It's meant for the kids. Let the kids play. Don't try to make it more about yourself.
Yeah. All right. I think we have Kirby back with us. Kirby, apologize that you dropped right in the middle.
Yep.
You were talking about meeting with the chain crew prior to the game to have them out on the field by 6:30.
Yeah, so that's my email on Sunday that I send the athletic director. Then I put together a pregame, and it's points we just want to talk about. We get to the school around 5 o'clock. We start changing into our uniforms, and we go through the pregame. On my crew, I have Dale Whitmore, who does a scouting report. He watches we all watch game film. He watches extra game film and comes up with a scouting report. Lee Tompkins, he's responsible for our post-game reports. Our umpire, Cam Dozier, will talk about equipment, which is a point of emphasis this year. And then we have Ryan Barnett, who's my line judge, and he'll have a topic to talk about. And we'll go over things that we want to focus on for the night. Like this week's our first time working together as a crew for 2024. So we'll talk about goals for the season, goals for the night, things like that. After we get dressed, we go out to the field. We meet with the home head coach. Do our necessary stuff, talk about, what's your emergency plan. Then we'll go to the visiting head coach, introduce ourselves, and then back judge talks to the timer. The line judge, a head linesman, talk to the ball boys and the chain crew. Umpire checks uniforms and equipment. Then the umpire and I walk around the field, and then 3 minutes before kickoff, we'll have the coin toss, and then we get busy.
Now, I want to ask you real quick about the scouting report. So you guys watch game film. What are you looking for?
It's stuff to help us get better, right? Is it a passing team or a running team? Does it have a right-handed quarterback or a left-handed quarterback? That changes where I stand in the backfield. Just a lot of it is just nuance, David, right? Just so we know what we're getting into. We'll know, you have Marana. Does Roebuck is their stud. Okay, let's make sure that we're paying attention when he's out there. He may go vertical. So Lee Tompkins, you're going to have to get on your wheels when we see that. Just stuff like that, right? It's just so we, it's getting prepared to be prepared to work the game.
Great stuff. See, I was not aware that at this level that referees would watch game film and pay close attention to that type of stuff that you just mentioned. That is really interesting stuff right there from Kirby Bull. Now, Kirby, we always appreciate seeing you out and about, and look forward to running into you at the next game. You'll be the folks at Mountain View. Keep an eye on my guy Matt Johnson out there. He's a troublemaker.
Yeah, I've known Matt for a lot of years, right? Hey, David, one last thing, right? Yeah. If there's anybody out there that wants to officiate, especially high school kids, as they're wrapping up their senior year, they're wrapping up their senior season, AIAonline.org, and go to the officials link. The AIA will waive fees for a high schooler that's getting into the profession or the avocation of officiating. You make some bucks. The camaraderie is unbelievable. That's another thing we do. So post game, we'll all go out and get something to eat somewhere. Oftentimes there's more than one crew where we end up.
Well, so I gotta know what's the referee bar. I gotta know where that is.
Well,
is that something you can say over the air?
If you know the secret handshake, I'll give it to you.
I'll have to find out the next time I see you, Kirby. So AIA.org.
It's a moving target, David. It's a moving target.
AIA.org for high schoolers that want to become officials.
AIAonline.org.
AIAonline.org.
Yes,
Kirby, appreciate you as always. We'll talk to you again.
All right. Have a great day, David.
All right. Kirby Bolnow, high school football official here in Southern Arizona. One of the best, for sure. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions reported at Thornydale and Hardy on northbound Campbell approaching Roger Road and backed up northbound on Campbell from Roger Road back to Prince Road, so maybe you could use Mountain instead. Ajo Way west of I-19, 22nd Street west of Wilmot with eastbound backups on eastbound 22nd Street approaching Wilmot, and northbound Wilmot north of 29th Street. Travel closed northbound Wilmot north of 29th Street. That's due to down poles and wires. For your weather, slight chance of showers and 100 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Get immersed in new worlds and ideas with Audible. Explore an incredible selection of audiobooks, podcasts, and originals, all in one easy app. There's more to imagine when you listen. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Is this house a good price compared to others in the area? Are prices going up or down? If I don't make an offer right this very moment, will I miss my chance? These are just some of the questions a home buyer might ask. And these are the sorts of questions an agent who is a realtor can help answer.
3 to 6 weekdays.
It is the weekend. Woo!
Peach Mania and the Green Chili Roast tomorrow and Sunday.
Green chili what? Wait, what?
Green Chili Roast. They'll roast up the green chilies for you.
I'll be there.
I know, right? And you can buy like a 50-pound burlap sack
Nothing
of chilies.
smells better than green chilies roast.
So good, right?
I don't know what I'm doing yet for fun this weekend.
You're going to the mud pit.
I don't think I'm going to the mud pit.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
TFCU Gives supports local organizations who help those in need. We take pride in giving back and believe that we are stronger when we all pitch in to help one another. Sister Jose Women's Center is dedicated to uplifting all women in our community by providing a welcoming and safe environment for women experiencing homelessness. TFCU invites you to join us in partnering with Sister Jose Women's Center. Learn more about Sister Jose at www.sisterjose.org.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
If you're using Viagra or Cialis or have thought about using them, listen up. Zeldy is introducing Zeldy Hardy's, new 2-in-1 dissolving tablets that get you ready for action in 15 minutes and keep you ready for up to 48 hours. They contain sildenafil and tadalafil, the active ingredients in Viagra and Cialis, but cost 90% less than those brand names. You heard me right. Using both active ingredients and this quick dissolving mechanism allows sildenafil to work in around 15 minutes, and the tadalafil keeps you ready for up to 48 hours. It's powerful results that cost around 90% less. Text REACT to 200-300 to get started. With Zelty, enjoy fast, free, discreet shipping without the hassle of any awkward, time-wasting visits to the doctor's office. We make access as seamless as possible so you can focus on your life and your love life. Get your free medical review and Zelty Hardy's, a new way to treat ED, today. Text REACT to 200-300 now. Don't wait. Text REACT to 200-300 right away. Text REACT React to 200 300.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TAP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text TAP to 321-321. That's TAP to 321-321.
This is Linnell Willingham with a Sports Minute, sponsored by Angie. Angie makes it easier than ever to get your home projects done well. Get started at Angie.com. The San Francisco 49ers have been in the public eye all summer long with the public negotiations between themselves and Brandon Ayuk. On cutdown day across the NFL, it's being reported that they may have a contract dispute with star left tackle Trent Williams as well. His Week 1 status all of a sudden in doubt. I'm Linnell Willingham.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
Vanguard is 100% client-owned, serving over 50 million investors every day. Whether you're planning for retirement, putting your kids through college, or saving up for your next adventure, Vanguard can help you set personalized investment goals. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Copyright 2024, The Vanguard Group, Inc., all rights reserved, Vanguard Marketing Corporation Distributor.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. I've got a sweet deal for you, so stay tuned. I'm going to tell you about that sweet deal here coming up a little bit later, but right now let's update you on what is happening with your Arizona Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks download.
Baseball stuff! Baseball stuff!
All right, the Diamondbacks will play game 1 of a 7-game homestand tonight, welcoming in the New York Mets and the Los Angeles Dodgers for a huge weekend series. Right now, the Diamondbacks are 3 games behind the Dodgers. They've gained a game because the Dodgers lost on the tail end of that weekend series and bounced back and won last night. So right now, Arizona is leading the wild card in the National League. They are 75-56. They are 1 game up on the San Diego Padres. Arizona has won 6 games in a row, and they are playing extremely well. We mentioned one guy who just had an absolute monster series over the weekend in the sweep of Boston, and that was Eugenio Suarez, Gino, who drove in 10 runs in 3 games on the swing, on the health of a double and 2 home runs in that 3-game series, including a grand slam. Torey Lovullo talking about his star hitting Gino Suarez and what he's done for this lineup.
The right guy in the right spot stepped up to the plate. Gino's been extremely hot and hits a 3-run home run, and it reverses the game. It turns it around immediately. So keep in mind, the innings were built. The innings were built with real good approaches, some base hits, and we just kept plugging away. We kept fighting. And I know it wasn't an easy day, falling down 4-0 with Merrill on the mound. He had to right the ship. He did. Had a couple shutdown innings, and the offense had some big hits. I think we did a great job defensively, too. We turned several double plays, and the pitching and defense, for me, goes hand in hand all the time. And I was proud of the way we came back. They scored 3, and, we talk about shutdown innings here and how important they are for our pitching staff. And, I think it's very powerful when the other team comes out and scores right in back of you. but it was done by building innings. The key at bat for me was the Guillorme at bat. We asked him to bunt. He was patient. He saw the ball. And then we had the bases loaded, and Jerry's just very good situationally. So you're right. We tacked on 2 runs because we situationally hit very, very well, and that was Corbin as well.
All right, that was Torey Lovullo after the finality of the sweep of the Boston Red Sox on Sunday in Beantown. Now, we had last week, Corbin Carroll's starting to get hot for the Diamondbacks. He's been, his average is only up to 260, but that's a lot higher than it was at the beginning of the season, considering where he was, which was down by the Mendoza line. And for those of you that don't know the term Mendoza line, that's hitting right around 200. So Corbin's struggled offensively a lot this season. Gino, Joc Pederson, and the other guy is Jake McCarthy, have just been providing the power in this lineup with the absence of Christian Walker, who we anticipate. We haven't heard anything new yet on Christian Walker for this, if he's going to be activated today, but there was talk that he could definitely be back at some point on this homestand. Well, Corbin Carroll was asked last week. You'll remember when they went to Cleveland and swept that series, that Joc Pederson hit a big home run and flexed in that series right there. And it was late. I think it was in the 8th inning. He hit the home run, put the Diamondbacks ahead. They end up winning the game. And he basically turns around and yells at the dugout, "That's me. That's me. I'm him." So Corbin Carroll was asked last week, who is really him? Is it Joc Pederson? Is it Jake McCarthy, who's having an unbelievable August? Is it potentially Eugenio Suarez? This is what Corbin Carroll had to say about who him actually is, and is it possibly Joc Pederson?
Who is him? Until you do it on the baseball field after crushing the baseball, that's the guy, Joc. We got to rib him a little bit every once in a while, though. But yeah, Joc, it's been really fun being his teammate, and just great. Just he's always just having a good time, so it's fun to get in there with him.
So according to Corbin Carroll, he's not him. Jake's not him. Gino's not him. Joc is him. Agree or disagree with that, guys?
Well, I mean, in the moment, right? I think what he just said there is if you do that thing on the field, like we think of that term as being, LeBron living up to the expectations he had as a 16-year-old, right? Like that's what we think of about the him thing. But I think he's just, passing the buck and saying, what I heard there, DK, was whoever's hot that game or that series is doing that thing to get the Diamondbacks some runs on the board, that he is him.
All right, I would have to put, and Ketel Marte was not on this list, but I would have to, if I was going to say anybody is him on this team, no disrespect to Joc Pederson, who has 20 home runs and 58 RBIs, who is hitting 283, which is, again, we've talked about. That's a pretty good average for Joc Pederson. All these guys, and I think that's the impressive thing for me when you look at this. You've got Jake McCarthy, who's hitting 299, which is pretty good for Jake McCarthy. 299 on the season, 8 home runs. Obviously didn't really start playing until recently, but has gotten hot in the month of August. And then you've got Gino Suarez, who's got 20 jacks and 79 ribs. So he's a 20-80 guy, which is usually where he is, but he's only hitting 241. But to me, it's Ketel Marte, because Ketel Marte has been at 300 the entire season, 298 obviously right now on the IL, with 30 jacks and 81 ribs. And it's disappointing because he's missed these 2 weeks, because honestly, if he doesn't get hurt, we were talking, if he doesn't get hurt, he's potentially a 4,100 guy.
We talked about it 2 weeks ago about he and a certain guy from LA being the 2 favorites for the MVP. Okay. So I mean, when you're talking about when you're talking about in the same sentence as Shohei these days, clearly that's the guy on the Diamondbacks all season long. I love this team though, in that they really do kind of take turns. Right? Guys will get hot for a stretch. It's whoever's hot at that time has been the one. There's been so many names during this. We did the math, Dragon Ball, and other than the sweep, they had won 12 out of 13 series, and that 13 series they tied versus the Braves, four-game series. They just swept the last 2 series, so that's, again, 13 out of 14 series that they've won. At the turn, they were 2 over. So, I mean, you look at what they've done in this last stretch since the All-Star break, it's kind of crazy.
And you mentioned that it's the teams taking turns. And at the time when Corbin Carroll was asked about who is him, then, yeah, he's talking about Jock Peterson there. Jock Peterson has not been him the last 7 days. He's only gotten 2 hits out of 15 at-bats the last 7 days. He's struggled recently, but, again, it's a cycle. Somebody else takes their turn on the escalator, and they go ahead and they're the ones that start to climb up.
The Mendoza line you mentioned.
Yes.
Famously named after Mario Mendoza. Who had a career average around 200, failed to hit over 200. Some of the other baseball terms, I had to look it up, DK. The Maddox is one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
That's a 9-inning shutout with 100 or fewer pitches.
Okay.
That's the Maddox. Ruthian, obviously that's a great one. But this one is great. There's a hockey term called the Gordie Howe hat trick. I love it. That's a player who's credited with a goal, an assist, and a fight in the same game.
A goal, an assist, and a fight. Gordie Howe hat trick. I
had to look it up because I know there's a lot of baseball terminology. Ruthian, obviously, is one we know, like a Ruthian home run. We all know that. Penske pole, that type of thing. But I had to look it up, and surprisingly, there were a few baseball terms that are actually named after somebody, an individual, Tommy John. But yeah, Mendoza line.
All right, we'll talk about Mario. I got a Mario Mendoza story from Chihuahua, Mexico. Mario Mendoza in the next hour. It's DK on the Sports Tip. JW Madness here. Cricket and Dragon Ball is back, telling you all about what's happening in the sports world here in Southern Arizona and beyond.
Wildcats Radio 1290. 2020 Sports.
Well, we speak about those Diamondbacks, and they're going to actually get back in the diamond here for a 3-game set against the Mets. Brandon Pfaadt will be the starter this afternoon. That one will go ahead and start up at 6:40 here today. And you're going to look at a 4-headed monster for the Wildcats football team. They have 4 co-number 1s at running back. That's Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt.
Or the 4 ors.
Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt.
From the O'Reilly
Paulie
Chevrolet
Conley,
Traffic Center. It's
Kedrick Riscano and Rashawn Speedy Luke to be the all co-starters for their season opener against New Mexico. And finally, we got Odell Beckham Jr., star wide receiver for the Dolphins. He's going to start the season on the PUP. He will miss at least the first 4 games, and there potentially would be risk that if he can't come back after those 4, he'll be done for the year. So, star wide receiver potentially missing out of a good portion of the season. That's your 2020 sports update here on Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With northbound Wilmot north at 29th Street. Northbound Wilmot north at 29th Street. Travel there closed due to down poles and wires. You could use Kolb or Craycroft instead. 22nd Street west of Wilmot for a collision. Eastbound slowing on 22nd Street approaching Wilmot. Other collisions clearing at Thornydale and Hardy. And also northbound Campbell approaching Roger Road. Collision there and heavy backups. Very slight chance of showers and 98 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400. Remember, the one and only play-by-play home for Arizona athletics is 1290. So if you're listening to Arizona football, men's basketball, and baseball, you have it locked on 1290. Wildcats Radio 1290.
I'd rather ride a bike with my kids.
Faster! I'd rather play catch with my dog than catch pneumococcal pneumonia.
Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20 pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine.
a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. If you are 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like heart disease or asthma, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I'd rather race for some ice cream. Let's go.
Schedule your vaccination today at Prevnar20.com.
Wildcats Radio 1290 is proud to support your Arizona Wildcats football team with their first home game this Saturday at Arizona Stadium.
This week, the Cats take on New Mexico. Kickoff is scheduled for 7:30 p.m.
To get your tickets, visit ArizonaWildcats.com or call 621-CATS. For more University of Arizona Wildcat football, including a complete schedule and link to buy tickets online, log on to KHID1075.com.
The Wildcats play here. This is your home of Arizona Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball. This is the home of the Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TAP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text TAP to 321-321. That's TAP to 321-321.
KZUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. The one and only home of the Jim Rome Show. Rich Eisen and DK on the Sports Tip.
Tell him about that tweet to Rome. It's going to be so awesome. He'll read it. He'll love it.
We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
Wait, what's the CNWT?
Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
David Amata.
Hey, that's Dragon Ball to you.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
All right, we are watching our BetQL 5-star bet for tonight, which is the Cubs and the Pirates on the over-under. Last night they combined for 26 runs. Tonight it's the bottom of the 4th. And the Cubs now have 5 to go with the Pirates 2. So we're at 7. 7. 2 more runs and we're good on this one here that we got. Your BetQL 5-star play of the day. Cubs and Pirates on the over of 8.5, now sitting at 7 in the 4th inning. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. We gave you your Diamondbacks information, but we'll give you those numbers as well. If you want to play the D-backs tonight, they are favorite on the money line at -115 on your Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook for a game that will start at 6:40. It is Dragon Ball mentioned there in his update. Brandon Pfaadt on the mound. He is 8-6 with a 4.08 ERA. And I'd love to see him bring that under 4 for the first time this year. That would be good. Brandon Pfaadt kind of starting to find himself down the stretch, much like he kind of did last year. Found himself down the stretch and was pretty good in the postseason. Sean Manaea, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, from the Pirates or from the Mets, I'm sorry. He is 9-5, having another decent season with a 3.48 earned run average. Again, 3 with the Mets and then 4 with the Dodgers this weekend. That is going to be. I might try to get up there Sunday and see that. That'd be cool to get up there and see them play the Dodgers this weekend.
Well, we'll be done Saturday night at like 2 a.m. Sunday morning. Right?
So go to bed right away, get up at 9 and drive to Phoenix because it's probably an early start on Sunday, as it normally is. All right, last night your Phoenix Mercury lost to the best team in the WNBA, the New York Liberty.
Tip is up and won by New York, and we are underway. Copper off the mark on the triple try, and here comes New York pushing pace. Stewie for 3. Bottoms. Mercury have missed their last 6 shots. On a breakaway, Cunningham connects. Copper rises, fires, and hits. That fall shot by B won't fall. Tosh! Oh my goodness, Kahleah Copper, are you kidding me? We've had 5 lead changes, 3 ties. Stewie off glass, that's pretty. She's got 16 to lead all scores. Trying to get it inside to BG. And Griner, nothing but net. Taurasi 3 off the mark. Battle for the rebound. Won by BG. Reversing beautifully. Oh, Griner, that was luscious.
Griner leading the league in field goal percentage. She's 6 of 10.
Mo Billings corralling the rebound. Gets it ahead to Taurasi. Diana leaving it for BG. Oh, I love that tandem so much. Thought about the logo 3, gets it to Stewie, turnaround, and hits.
I mean, this is a game that is very winnable for the Mercury, but they've got to be more focused, and right now, it's getting away from them.
When you have the best record, that's not hard to remember. So New York becomes the first to 12 road victories this season.
So the Mercury lose. Well, again, the Mercury are going to Merc. They win, they lose, they win, they lose. That's what? Is that now 8 games since the break? Or, yeah, they're like 4-4, which is kind of what we anticipated. 84-70 was the final. Brittany Griner finished with 22 points. This team just doesn't shoot threes. I mean, that's one of their issues. I mean, you look nightly at their box score, and they generally are sitting around 5 threes per night, while a lot of these teams like New York can have multiple players that can shoot threes. They had and get to double digits. But this is not a team that gets to double-digit threes very routinely.
Yeah, 5 for 22 from deep is not good, DK. Also, 20 turnovers.
Oh, gosh.
That was a big part of that loss last night.
7 by Brittany Griner.
Lots of turnovers.
6 by Natasha Cloud. There was some history that came out of this game, however, and that was one Diana Taurasi moving into 4th place on the WNBA's all-time list in the second quarter of assists. She passed Lindsay Wallen and now sits behind only Subird, Courtney Vandersloot, and Tisha Penacaro for all-time assists in the WNBA. So she leads the league in points scored all-time and now 4th all-time in assists. So congratulations to Diana Taurasi. She had how many assists in this game? She had 6 to go along with the 7 that Natasha Cloud had. But the Mercury lose, and they're 6-15, sitting 1 game over 500. Now, last night, other interesting news in the WNBA, the Indiana Fever win again, 19 points by Caitlin Clark. They beat the Atlanta Dream. It's their 14th win of the season, the most wins they've had since 2016.
They started like 2-8, was it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they started 2-8, and they're 14-16. So it took a minute for those guys to figure out, I think, mostly how to play with Caitlin. She's still leading the WNBA in turnovers by a large margin. I think a lot of that was her getting used to the speed of the game, but their offense is really humming right now. A lot of weapons.
So we'll see how again, they've been climbing up the board, the playoff board, trying to put themselves in position for a chance. And you never know. I mean, again, with the way they're playing now, they are sitting in the playoffs right now at number 7. The Sky are number 8. So your two teams that have the 2 top rookies are both in the playoff mix at the moment.
It should be noted as well.
Sneaking up on the Mercury.
The team that's just out of the playoff picture right now is 6 full games behind Phoenix. Right?
Yeah.
So the Atlanta Dream are 10-19.
Right.
Phoenix is 16-15. So it would take a lot of shifting for those teams that are outside the playoffs right now to make their way in.
One thing I want to just quickly chime in on that. You mentioned, DK, how the Mercury they've won, they've lost, they've won, they've lost. Merc they're going to Merc.
Yeah.
Do you know what the bizarre statistic for the last time that they had back-to-back wins was?
What's that?
It was before the Olympic break.
Yeah.
So you had a win on July 16th and then a back-to-back win technically
I think they
on
won
August
3 in a row,
15th.
didn't they, or something? That was the last time they won back-to-back. They had 3 straight, I think.
They had the 3 straight in the month of July between the 3rd and the 10th. Technically, the last time that the Mercury's won back-to-back games was from July 16th to then August 15th.
Right.
And then since then, it's been loss, win, loss, win.
I don't know why this is, but there seems like there's a lot of statistical anomalies in the WNBA. Like, take, for instance, the the Dream, right? So the Mercury just played the Dream twice out of the Olympic break, like you're talking about. They lost 9 consecutive games going into the Olympic break and won 4 consecutive coming out of it. How does that work?
Sometimes you just need to refresh.
I guess you got to rest. You got to get that 3 weeks of rest or something.
It's like NBA teams getting ready to go back into the COVID bubble. All of a sudden, everybody got rested. Everyone's healthy now. They haven't been playing for about a month and a half.
It's like, a baseball analogy would be like going up against a team in a series with only 2 starting pitchers, right? Because there's so few teams in the WNBA. You have to see the same teams week after week after week. You really learn the tendencies of the other players. Sometimes I think the NBA is a real make or miss league these days. You shoot around 35, 40% from 3, you're okay. And it seems like, you just pointed out the Phoenix Mercury's lack of outside shooting, especially in this last game. Up and down, up and down, up and down. You make your shots, you win. You turn the ball over 20 times and you make 5 out of 22 threes, you lose.
Yeah. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Then I'm going to get in on the program. Don't forget, join me out at Bear Down Fridays this Friday at Illegal Pete's on University Avenue. We'll be there from 3 to 6 as we get you ready for the Wildcats to take on the New Mexico Lobos. That'll be at the stadium on Saturday. Bear Down Fridays, at least our appearance there, is sponsored by Corona for fans of the fine life and the official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Of course, there is not going to be a quote Bear Down Fridays as we know it. No parade coming up this Friday. Dragon Ball, you were not here yesterday when we were breaking that news that Bear Down Fridays will not be happening every home game this season, only for the 3 home games in the month of October, which is essentially the Big 12 opener against Texas Tech, and then the 2, I think you got Parents Weekend and Homecoming, so all 3 of those in succession is when they're going to do it. But any thoughts on the Bear Down Fridays not happening? There's a lot of people that are disappointed by this.
I mean, you always want to go and have a parade going through town. It's always a very lively scene, a lot of the band going. You get a lot of music, a lot of people just getting to see each other and hang out, having a good time. At the same time, it's probably not in an official capacity, but I'd imagine that there's still going to be some Bear Down Fridays kind of vibes going through.
That's what I said. Yeah,
it's going to go through the the street going into the stadium and things like that. I would imagine that fans are still going to do their best to make it feel like a Bear Down Friday.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really about, like, for anything, the first one anyway, is about a lot of the new students who have just moved themselves into dorms this last week, stumbling around, 100 yards away from where they're now sleeping, and seeing a band walk down the street. I mean, that whole experience. But I guarantee you there'll be some Bear Down fight song singing from some of the people who are down there, Illegal Pete's, during that time, even if there aren't stages set up.
Rafael Gallego chimes in on Twitter, not happy about this, talking about no Bear Down Fridays. Blanca Lopez says, wow, we look forward to Bear Down Fridays. First, no open practices, And now this, shaking my head. Not good, says Blanca Lopez. Now, again, this is an event that is run by by a foundation in association with Main Gate Square. Obviously, they have a partnership with athletics, but largely the event is run by the Marshall Foundation. And so they call the shots on this, and apparently they're the ones that have made the decision. We've reached out to the Marshall Foundation to see if anybody wants to come on and talk about this decision to truncate Bear Down Friday. We have not yet heard back from them on that, so we'll continue to try to get as much information on that and why the decision was made.
Stop truncating my Fridays.
Right. Stop truncating my Fridays. Exactly. Now that's one less thing on Cricket's list on Fridays. No Bear Down Friday parade. Did you hear about that?
No.
Cricket? Yeah, no. Bear Down Fridays will not be happening this Friday. Only 3 times in October.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a little disappointing.
That is.
Yeah. You sound so excited about
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Well, I don't
Be
know
a
what
little
to
bit more
say.
angry about it.
But I don't know what
please,
to
Cricket.
say. Well, I'm not an angry person.
Okay. Yeah, you're not. But
I mean,
you come bearing gifts, which
Sort
is
of.
always good, right?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah. What do you got? What gifts do you have for the people today?
We have a sweet deal on Friday from Cup Bop. It's Korean barbecue in a cup.
Wait, can I stop you right there?
Yeah.
Because you weren't here yesterday. So I when I found out about Cup Bop, have you been to Cup Bop?
No.
No. Have you been to Cup Bop? Anybody
have.
been to Cup Bop?
I have.
Oh, okay. Do you like it? Is it good?
Yeah,
I've
I
never
think
been
it's
there.
very good.
Okay. So every time I said Cup Bop, I keep hearing Kids Bop. You know what Kids Bop is?
Is that like the kids redo the like
Kids
pop
Bop
songs?
is one of those. Yeah, it's one of those radio stations. It's a satellite radio station where they play music geared to kids. But there was like a famous Karen episode involving this mom who got outrageous, got road raged, and she was yelling and cursing at this lady and who was in an Uber.
Oh,
and we'll have to play it again. In fact, let me play this for you, Ray. I'm going to play this for you, Cricket, so you can hear it. And I don't know if you've heard the famed Kids Bop mom, but let's play this for Cricket so she can hear it.
I'm sorry, really sorry.
You are?
No, it's my
Wait,
fault.
let me set this up for you real quick. So she's yelling. She's upset because the Uber guy almost hit her kids. Okay, so she's yelling at the Uber while there's a girl in the back seat of the Uber filming her because she's going crazy.
okay.
I'm sorry, really sorry.
You are?
No, it's my fault.
It is your fault.
Yeah, I know it's my fault. That's why I'm saying sorry. Eh?
She thinks it's cute that her driver almost hit my kids, and she thinks she needs to take a video of it instead of apologizing like a safe.
So
stopping
in the middle of the road
is gonna help. You being a bitch is gonna help.
I didn't say anything.
I don't know. Calm down. Calm down.
He's going like this.
It's okay. I'm sorry.
He
apologized. It's my fault.
He apologized.
It's my fault. Yeah, I know. It's
And
my
you know what? That didn't upset me. But the
Sorry.
that told me to calm down. What I'd like you to do is apologize instead of being a bitch.
You're calling me sorry, but you're calling me a bitch. So set an example.
I'm sorry. My kids can't hear me calling you a bitch.
Your window's open.
They can't hear me because they're listening to Kids Bop.
I was waiting for the tie-in. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, her
All right.
kids were listening to Kids Bop, so they could not hear their mom going crazy.
Was that
on the
real,
Uber.
though? Was that made
It was
up? Like,
absolutely real.
you think it's real?
You know,
I don't know.
That's one of the most famous Karens out there.
That just seems too perfect. Like, that's too perfect of a Karen. You know what I mean?
That's a very planned
Yes,
dialogue
okay.
on that last second
So,
there.
Let's now back to Cup Bop.
Not
Kids Bop, but
yeah.
Cup Bop.
It's Cup Bop Korean barbecue in a cup. And so each cup is served with rice and then Cup Bop's signature cabbage mix, noodles, and then you pick your protein like Korean barbecue chicken, Korean barbecue pork, Korean barbecue beef, deep fried chicken.
It sounds good.
Tangy fried chicken, tofu, or veggies, and then you pick your spice. It could either be sweet or you could just bring the heat. And they have 3 locations in town, and that sweet deal on Friday again from Cup Bop, Korean barbecue in a cup. Pay $25, get $50 to spend. Sweet deal Friday morning, 8:30. Wildcats Radio, 1290.com.
All right, now I got another place I got to go try out.
Try it
Cup
out.
Bop.
If you put the words Korean barbecue in front of anything else, I think it probably will make it better.
It's fair.
There you go.
Yeah. So you just said Korean barbecue chicken.
It sounds
it's all
amazing.
All right, Cricket getting you home. Glenn Howe and Wildcat Breakdown next.
All right, from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collisions that are clearing at Thornydale and Hardy and Thornydale and 22nd Street west of Wilmot. Northbound Wilmot, north of 29th Street, is closed due to down poles and wires. You could use Kolb or Craycroft instead. Slight chance of rain, 98 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Bank of America. Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America, N.A., copyright 2024.
Not all sports stations are built the same way. 1290 has Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball, plus the NFL and the Super Bowl. Tucson Trust's 1290. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400.
The Window Depot has everything you need to create the kitchen or bathroom of your dreams. Browse the aisles of in-stock cabinets available in a variety of sizes and configurations and instantly elevate your space today. Visit a showroom and let our experts guide you. Whether you're choosing from ready-to-go designs or creating a custom masterpiece, we can help you select the perfect wood type, color, and style, and top it off with unique hardware to complete your look. Find a location near you at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot. More than a window store.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply. Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TAP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text TAP to 321-321. That's TAP to 321-321.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
For all the latest news from Arizona Stadium, McHale Center, and High Corbin Field, make sure to like us on Facebook at Wildcats 1290. This is the exclusive home of Arizona Athletics. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports, sponsored by Allstate. We'd like to salute basketball legend Maya Moore, whose number 23 jersey was retired by the Minnesota Lynx this weekend. Moore had one of the greatest careers in the history of the sport. After leading UConn to 2 national titles, she played 8 professional seasons with Minnesota and guided them to 4 WNBA championships. The former league MVP also had a standout international career before stepping away from basketball in 2019. Even though Moore played her final professional game before turning 30, she's one of the greatest winners that the sport has ever seen.
I tried to leave it all out there and role model what it looks like to just grind every day, but do it with joy. So you add that into all the other greatness that I had around me, and you get what we got.
Maya Moore was selected to the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame this year. With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Erica Herskowitz on Westwood One.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them.
I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Broken bricks, falling fences, damaged doors, Gorilla Glue. Of course. It's incredibly strong and 100% waterproof and bonds, well, virtually everything. While you're at it, look for Gorilla Tape, a heavy-duty double-thick duct tape, and Gorilla Super Glue, great for all your quick fixes and repairs. There's also Gorilla Epoxy, Gorilla Wood Glue, Gorilla Construction Adhesive. Of course. You get it. If you can break it, Gorilla can fix it. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290. It's the 5 o'clock hour, and it's time for our Arizona Insiders.
Am I late? No, my boy, you're just in time.
Each weekday, Wildcats Radio 1290 brings you all the latest news and opinions on U of A football. So bear down, Tucson, and let's talk Arizona football. Our Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Coors Light, official corporate sponsors of Arizona Athletics. There's nothing like game day in Arizona.
Breaking down Arizona Wildcats football, it is game week for the first time in 2024. New Mexico on the horizon, joined as always by Glenn Howe, U of A football class of 1985. And so this is year 15, I think, for us, Glenn, because we started doing this back in 2010 now. 15 years breaking down Arizona Wildcats football in some form on radio and or television. And appreciate you joining us. Well, first of all, Glenn, I have to... We're going to get to the wide receivers and the DBs, but I want to start with one of the thing that popped out to me on the depth chart yesterday, and that was the absence of one Tyler Powell on this depth chart. He ran a lot with the ones during training camp, but when they listed the 3 tight ends, he wasn't one of them. We talked last week about the tight ends and how deep a battle that is, but I was surprised when they announced the depth chart. It was Keon Burnett, it was Sam Olsen, and it was Roberto Miranda. But I still think that probably, I don't know that means a whole lot. And it was interesting also that Coach said yesterday, the reality is we don't have to do a depth chart. That's something that they're not necessarily required to do.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. This depth chart really doesn't really mean that much. I'm telling you, because there's some guys that I don't see on there that had a great camp. Like you look at Haynes. Rex. Right. He had a great camp. I'm sure he's going to get into the mix. There's a lot of guys on there that are not on this depth chart that is going to probably get into the mix. I think we got a lot of guys, and that's a good thing.
So, it's interesting you started with Rex Haynes. I think of when you think about guys that maybe you go into a camp and you're looking like, okay, who's gonna maybe begin to show? Who's gonna begin to separate themselves in terms of the guys that are coming back? I mean, we can talk about the new guys and what they did, but in terms of the guys that were coming back from last year, who are going to be those guys that maybe step to the forefront? And when you've got a guy like Teto McMillan and he's out essentially for the first part of the fall camp process, that allowed for some guys to have a larger role, working with the ones, working with the twos. And there was no question about it that Rex Haynes, the son of NFL Hall of Famer Mike Haynes, was one of those players who stood out.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. I mean, you got to look at college training camps now. They're not like the olden days where first-team guys had to go and they had to play every day.
Yeah.
It's like an NFL camp now.
Right.
Our best guys, and we know what they can do. They're going to sit out. They're going to, they're going to do some drills and stuff and everything, but you already know what they can do. So now let's put some pressure on some of the other kids and see if they can perform under pressure. And that's what it is. It's under pressure that you do that. I think that's a really good thing that gives an opportunity for kids. And then you see the guys that okay, this kid's he's got potential. So then you in the background, you're making your depth chart that no one doesn't even know about yet. You're setting that depth chart of each position. Well, this guy's development. This guy could be this. This can be, giving that extra reps, and that's what you need to do. And I think that's what Arizona's doing now.
Well, so in terms of Rex Haynes, let's focus on him. What did you like about what you saw from him in camp?
I just liked that he was more fluent in running his routes, and then, he's 6'4".
Yeah.
The guy is fast, and he's big, and he can go up and get the ball. And he was catching balls that were not thrown very well. So he was doing that, and that's what you need to have in a receiver that can get the balls that are not perfectly thrown. So that's what I really liked. And then he was going against the one. He was going against some really good defensive backs, which I think we're stacked at defensive back. I think we have some really good players that are going to make, iron sharpens iron. That's an old cliche, but it really is.
We're chatting with Glenn Howell. It is Wildcat Breakdown. He's our Arizona insider for the day, brought to you by Coors Light. Coors Light, an official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. Glenn, when you kind of look at the wide receiver position, that was one of the positions where there was some guys down through a large part of camp. Obviously, Tetroic McMillan was working his way back through the early portions of camp. But it's just fun to watch him, because the minute that he got back, it clearly, he had to work on his the health side of it in terms of his stamina. But there was nothing wrong with the hands. It was like almost the first day he got back in there and started working with team activities. I mean, they threw him balls and he caught everything, whether it was with two hands, whether it was one hand. It was like he nothing wrong with his hands, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's a special kind of guy. He's one of the best that I've seen here in a long, long time. I mean, we've had some good wide receivers here, but, T-Mac is just really special. He works hard in practice. He's gotten better at running his routes. He's not doing you remember his freshman year, we used to see him not even complete a route. I mean, it was like, now he gets it now. He gets it. He's going to be a pro. He's got to practice like a pro. And I think he got that. And he's doing really, I think he's just getting better. He's going to get better, and how not get better against going against Sicario Davis and all our DBs that we have that are really good. That's how you get really, really, really good, and he's just been improving every day.
Yeah, Marquise Groves-Killebrew obviously going to man that other corner, really challenging guys throughout the entirety of camp. And when you look, we were talking earlier in the show, when you look at Jeremiah Patterson, the new guy out of College of San Mateo, I mean, people are going to be confused. They're going to be like walking into the stadium Saturday night saying, "Well, we thought Jacob Cowing was playing for the 49ers. What's he still doing out there?" Because this kid Patterson looks just like him.
Absolutely, he's just quick as all heck, and he can just get out. And he just makes a DB nervous. Okay, he's coming out of the blocks, and he's fast. He's so quick, and he's crisp on his routes. So that's what the thing is. So the inside position is going to leave a lot of stuff open for the outside for T-Mac. And even when T-Mac gets inside, they'll move him inside too. And then, the defense is going to have a problem with our guys.
Glenn Howell joining us. U of A football class of 1985, tight end. We're breaking down our position groups today, one on offense, one on defense. It is the wide receivers. When you look at the next line of guys, Romello Murphy is another new guy coming into this system. Glenn, he arrives as a transfer as well. And he's coming in from, obviously, another guy from College of San Mateo, which is, we talked about that being a little bit of a pipeline now at a number of different positions. We mentioned Rex Haynes is kind of in that second group. Devin Hyatt is another guy who could potentially work his way into the mix in what they call that X receiver position, which is the Tetairoa McMillan role. Although if they ever decide to bring Tetairoa off the field, and I think that's going to be the interesting thing, as it always is how many guys we're really going to see catch the ball, and then what is Montana Lamonius Craig's role this year? Is it kind of similar to what he did last year, or do you think they'll use him differently?
Yeah, I think it's going to be similar as last year. I think these guys have to understand who is the money man, okay, and understand that. And if they're a team, it's going to be a telling sign in the first couple of games of how these guys are going to be able to accept their roles. And you got to have a team kind of concept of understanding that T-Mac is going to get majority of the ball, but also I think that these other guys, if they're going to get open, if they're going to try to double on T-Mac and try to get some of these other guys, are going to get their opportunities. So they can't really complain about, hey, I'm not getting the ball a lot, because some game you may get a lot of balls, okay? And you got to come through and make sure that you catch those balls and do good on the throws that are thrown to you.
J-Dub said to tell you to stop riding your rusty bike around campus. There's a lot of squeaking going on there.
Oh, is there? I'm actually in my car, so I was just getting back, so I hope I'm not squeaking too much.
Sounds like you're on one of those old beach cruisers riding down University Avenue.
No, not. Hey, you ain't gonna catch me on no beach cruiser.
No, you didn't have a beach cruiser back in the day?
No, dude. I had a little mountain bike.
Oh man.
Bike. Yeah.
But you couldn't ride girls on the handlebars of a mountain bike, though, right?
No, I just met him there.
You just met him there. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Glenn Howell joining us, U of A football class of 1985. Okay, before we wrap up the wide receivers, I just want to give you my young receiver to watch. He's probably not going to play much this year, but kind of stood out to me at the end of camp, and that was Jaden Clark. He's a 5'11 freshman. I'm sorry, not Jaden Clark. Jordan McCord, a freshman out of Soquel, California. I believe that's Northern California. 5'11", 165. A lot of speed. Wears number 89 and showed a lot of speed. Was able to, I saw him beat some of the better cornerbacks because at the end of camp, in the early camp, it was mostly the younger guys going against the younger guys. But then towards the end of camp, they started mixing it up a little bit more, and so you had some of the younger guys going against the ones and the twos, and he held himself pretty well out there. Were there any other younger receivers that kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, there's I like Jaden Clark. I liked him.
Yeah,
I did like him. Out of Desert Vista High School. There's some. There's a lot of guys on this wide receiver group, man. We forgot to talk about A.J. Jones.
Yeah.
He's another guy that was in the mix, tall, big kid. Was making grabs too. The guy, he's still a young kid. He's a redshirt sophomore. So we've still got a lot of guys that are on this roster that are talented. But you know what? How are they going to be able to be patient? Because, there's always a portal.
Yeah.
And that's, if you got to be patient, that's how teams are built, is being patient and being in there, because you don't know what happens in football. Football has a lot of injuries. You just got to be ready to go when your number is called.
All right, we've broken down the wide receivers. We're going to talk defensive backs. It's Wildcat Breakdown with our Arizona insider, Glenn Howe. We'll have much more coming up in the next segment. Glenn will stay with us. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Crash clearing Thornydale and Hardy and Thornydale. Also Wilmot, north of 29th Street. We've got a closure. Northbound Wilmot, north of 29th Street, is closed. That's due to down poles and wires. Could use Kolb or Craycroft as an alternate route. Possibility with a flood advisory in effect, and it is 98 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. It's Mattress Firm's best sale of the year, Labor Day sale. Save up to $900 on select adjustable mattress sets from Stearns & Foster, Tempur-Pedic, and Sealy. Plus, get up to a $300 instant gift for pillows and more.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text TAP to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text TAP to 321-321. That's TAP to 321-321.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
If you're using Viagra or Cialis or have thought about using them, listen up. Zeldy is introducing Zeldy Hardies, new 2-in-1 dissolving tablets that get you ready for action in 15 minutes and keep you ready for up to 48 hours. They contain sildenafil and tadalafil, the active ingredients in Viagra and Cialis, but cost 90% less than those brand names. You heard me right. Using both active ingredients and this quick dissolving mechanism allows sildenafil to work in around 15 minutes, and the tadalafil keeps you ready for up to 48 hours. It's powerful results that cost around 90% less. Text REACT to 200-300 to get started. With Zelty, enjoy fast, free, discreet shipping without the hassle of any awkward, time-wasting visits to the doctor's office. We make access as seamless as possible so you can focus on your life and your love life. Get your free medical review and Zelty Hardies, a new way to treat ED. Today, text REACT to 200-300 now. Don't wait. Text REACT to 200-300 right away. Text REACT to 200-300.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
It's like you got one of those 250 horsepower engines.
I think 390, 360.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Holy mackerel. What do you got?
It's a Hemi 5.7.
Are you out there street racing?
So here's the headline. Cricket, famous for traffic reports, crashes her car going 115 on Speedway. Probably not the best headline. So, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you're not jumping over anything like
Dukes of Hazzard,
right?
No, I want to though. It's epic.
Wildcats Radio 1290, your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400.
My helmet saved me after they crashed into my motorcycle, but I still couldn't ride for weeks. The insurance company tried hammering me into a quick settlement. No way. I gave them the bird, the eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. Nobody knows Arizona like the eagle. Phoenix to Tucson, Flagstaff to Havasu, and every bit of blacktop in between. Wherever you go, the eagle is there. So if you've been injured, don't wait. Give the insurance company the bird.
Give them the bird. Call the eagle. Goldberg and Osborne. 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Imagine a disease that affects more than 10 million Americans, yet few know its name. I'm talking about lymphedema, LE. Many people, like my mom, get it as a result of cancer treatment and afterwards face a lifetime of swelling and pain. The cruel irony is many times its severity can be lessened only if you learn about it and act in advance. If you're at risk, ask your doctor about lymphedema. Take this as your chance to learn and live. Learn more at lymphaticnetwork.org.
I'm Linnell Willingham with a Sports Minute.
The NFL regular season gets geared up to be kicked off next week with the Chiefs and the Ravens battling it out in the AFC. But there's one division that I feel like is not getting enough respect, the AFC South. With C.J. Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, Anthony Richardson, and potentially Will Levis rising to the top, this division all of a sudden goes from being one of the NFL's duds to maybe one of the NFL's studs. I'm Linnell Willingham.
Our Labor Day savings start now at Lowe's. Right now, buy one, get one free on Valspar Reserve or HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Infinity or Showcase Interior Paint via Lowe's gift card rebate. Whether you're painting one accent wall or want to freshen up a whole room, we've got you covered. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details. Valid through 9/4.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. Breaking down Arizona football. Joined as always by Glenn Howe, U of A football class of 1985. It's our position group breakdowns as we enter week one of the 2024 season. We were talking wide receivers in the first segment. We'll get into the defensive backs here in the second segment, and I want to talk cornerbacks first, Glenn, because obviously we've got Tacario Davis, who is being touted as one of the best cornerbacks in the country. But here's what I want to ask you, because I thought I always liked Christian Roland Wallace and thought that he was really, really good, strong defender, never really got picked on. Guys wouldn't throw his way, but he went undrafted, signed a pretty nice undrafted free agent deal with the Chiefs, and looks like he's going to at least stick there. I haven't seen his name on the waiver wire as of this moment, so definitely a developmental player. But here's Tacario Davis, who is many people are touting as a first-round talent. What do you see as being the big differences? Because I'm not ready to – I mean, I'm not saying that he's not deserving of that, but I'm not ready to put him in front of Christian Roland Wallace, who I thought was one of the best cornerbacks we've had at this school in the last 10 years.
Well, I think Tacario, I really like him because, one, you can't teach height. He's 6'4", 190, and with Dwayne, talking to Dwayne, he just thinks that he's a smart kid. He's intelligent. He's got football IQ, and that's a big factor. I don't know if Christian was as high IQ as him. I don't know how that, because I thought Christian got beat a little bit when he was with us, and then when he was at SC, he got beat a lot there. And Tacario, I just think that he's his hips, the way he turns his hips, the way he can get his length of his arms and getting close to receivers. I think that's what makes him really, really, really good. And if he is as fast as I think he can be, and if he can get faster, if he's a 4.3 guy, 4.4 guy, if he can get there, I think he'll be a first rounder.
Marquise Groves-Killebrew on the other side, a transfer from Louisville, also has played at Texas A&M, was initially committed to play at Georgia out of high school, so a young man with a very high pedigree coming into college, but has not really been healthy for the first 2 years of his college career. And that's so critical when you're talking about playing, really any position, but the cornerback position when you've got to go out there and guard the fastest kids on the field. If you've got a bad groin, which he's kind of been dealing with the first 2 seasons, that makes it very difficult to play that position.
Dude, having a bad groin is the worst thing you can have as a DB.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the worst thing that you can have. And before I talk about Marquise, is that this these group of DBs, we might have 4 or 5 pros in that backfield. Okay, with Trayden Stukes, Davis, Marquise, Dalton Johnson, and Gunnar Maldonado. Those guys, I mean, that's probably the most talented group, I think, probably in the Big 12. I think there's not a group that is as good as these guys, and I think they're going to prove it this year. But Marquise, I love his attitude of you got to be able to have a short memory as a defensive back, and you got to talk a little bit. Okay, Marquise, he chatters a little bit, and he has a lot of confidence, and I like his game, but he backs it up. You know, he's a guy that wants to be challenged, and I just love his attitude, and he's always working. When I go to practice and I see him, he's really working on his technique. He's during even through the walkthroughs, he's working on his technique, and that's what pros do.
Dwayne Aquina has called Trayden Stukes the best kept secret in college football. I think the thing that really I loved about Trayden's development last year, when they put him in the slot and we kind of didn't really know what that was going to be, and at the beginning of the season where we were like, well, is this a promotion? Is this a demotion? What's he going to do there? But was just his ability to play the run and play it physically is what really stood out to me, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him progress in that area as well as add on to his coverage skills this year.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, people are going to think I'm crazy. He kind of reminds me of Ed Reed.
Really?
You know? Yeah.
Wow, okay.
6'2", 198.
I don't know if he hits like, I don't know if he's a good, he can play the run. I don't know if he can hit like Ed Reed, though.
Let me tell you, I think Trayden can light it. It's a little different when Ed Reed in his era where he can hit. But I'm telling you, I think Trayden is good enough to take on pulling guards, take on fullbacks, take on running backs, and stuff like that. And I think he's good enough to be able to do that, strong enough, and he's smart enough. That's the thing. That's what I think that people don't understand. With having Dwayne Aquina as our coach, we add an extra degree to those guys. I mean, they get an extra. They're on the master level. Some of these guys are on the PhD level when you're dealing with getting coached by Dr. Dwayne Aquina. You know, I mean, he just gives you all that knowledge, and his track record is proven. He's proven. He's got 3 Thorpe Award winners. He could get another one out of one of these guys. So. I think that that's the biggest factor of what we have is we're very, very blessed to have Dwayne Aquina as our coach.
Pleased to be joined by Glenn Howe. He's our Arizona insider, brought to you by Coors Light. Choose chill. Coors Light, official corporate sponsor of Arizona Wildcats Athletics. It is Wildcat Breakdown. We are breaking down the defensive backs. All right, I want to get to a few of the guys, Glenn, in the reserve section before we get out of here in terms of these DBs. We talked about Dalton Johnson, obviously a big-time starter. Owen Goss, he was another one that stood out for me in camp, a transfer from Colgate out of Chicago, West Side Chicago, Hinsdale. Just a real smart kid, tough hitter, just always seemed to be around the football in camp.
Yes, absolutely. He's a veteran. The guy's played 4 years already. He's already played at a college level.
30-plus games as a starter.
Ready. Yeah, I mean he's a guy that's ready to go, man. That's a guy that you can rely on. And having a veteran back there, he's going to help those other guys, the younger guys. So having those kind of guys and he went to Colgate, so you got to be kind of smart to go to Colgate. Yeah, you got to be a smart kid. So, you got to, that's a great addition. The guy that I like is Emmanuel Carnley. I think, the guy's 6'3". He's another guy.
Well, yeah, him and Jonah Price both look the part over there at corner.
Yeah, I'm telling you. you look at those guys, how big they are, and how they can, they look the part and they develop. And that's what I say. I'm really excited about these guys in the backfield because the defensive backfield because they're getting coached by Dwayne Aquina.
Yeah,
Dwayne Aquina will show you how to be a good defensive back.
And two other guys real quick. We mentioned Genesis Smith. It's going to be tough to keep him off the field. Again, 6'2", 203, another hard. Now, if I was going to make an Ed Reed comparison, I would probably say Genesis Smith before I said Trayden Stukes, just based on the build. And then the other guy I like is Jack Luttrell, the transfer out of Tennessee. I mean, I liked in the spring game. He looked like a guy that can really come up and lay some hat. And then he took on the goalpost standard and got up and walked off the field during fall camp. So I like Jack Luttrell's toughness.
Yeah. Jack Luttrell is a missile. He likes to come up. He's not afraid of contact. He's a tough kid, and I love Genesis too. And you look at all these guys that are in there, Celestine, Goss, all these guys that are in this mix. We got a really good deep defensive backfield, and I'm expecting us to really be really physical and also being able to cover guys when they have some good wide receivers.
All right, Glenn, we'll see you Saturday on the Mall.
I'm excited about our first pregame, starting the 15th year, DK. That's a long time, man. We might be getting Social Security pretty soon.
I'm telling you. Glenn Howell, U of A football class of 1985, the tight end.
Thanks to Coors Light for bringing you today's Arizona Insiders on Wildcats Radio 1290. Coors Light, official corporate sponsors of Arizona Athletics. There's nothing like game day in Arizona.
Well, our thanks to Glenn Howell for joining us. We'll dive into some of those comparisons on the show tomorrow and get the thoughts of the fellows and see what they have to say. That is going to wrap up our show for tonight. I'd like to thank Glenn Howell for joining us, as well as Kirby Bowl now, and welcoming back our guy, Dragon Ball, David Amata. Glad to have him back, along with Cricket and J-Dub. My name is David Kelly. That's our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Got a surprise for you. Another surprise. I'm just full of surprises. Coming up for you tomorrow. DK on the Sports Tip, 3 o'clock. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Thornydale and Hardy, a collision clearing. Other wreck reported Speedway west of Alvernon. Wilmot north of 29th Street. Northbound Wilmot north of 29th Street. Closed due to downpoles and wires. You could use Kolb or Craycroft instead. Flood advisory in effect until 8 tonight, and it's about 97 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need at the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they're guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This Labor Day weekend, if you have travel plans, that's wonderful. If you plan to stay at home, that's also wonderful. Wherever the road takes you, O'Reilly Chevrolet wishes you a safe and happy Labor Day.
O'Reilly!